For NORA, it's back to a road course in race 18, a perfect way to mark halfway in their 2005 season. After tonight's race, which we candidly expect to be won by Jacob Malone, we'll be halfway through the calendar and just 8 races from this season's chase, meaning time is ticking and points are becoming fewer and farther between. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and to the virtual Montreal, Quebec. This is an exciting one for us. It's the first time we're taking Cup cars to Montreal. I'm Andrew Cardinal IV with Blue Carl alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the NORA Canada Grand Prix. Today's coverage is brought to you by Harpoon Design, by NORA, and by Whiplash Creative. This is a special racetrack in a lot of ways, of course. It kind of came about from an existing island around the river here in Montreal that has hosted some pretty big events. There's Olympic ties and World Fair ties. There's a lot going on in this one little spot on the riverbanks. And eventually they had the great idea, let's go racing around it. It was later named after Jacques Villeneuve, and sorry, not Jacques, Gilles Villeneuve, Jacques of course being his son. Jacques, I don't think has raced here too often in the NASCAR side. Of course, he's got plenty of starts in other racing, but this is a pretty cool racetrack, and of course bears the name Gilles Villeneuve, named after Gilles in the 80s, and it's been mostly unchanged since the course was created, Blue. I think that's the special part of it. It looks like it could be a modern circuit, but it's relatively unchanged since the 70s.
It's quite unchanged, and honestly, it still is a modern circuit, and it is a really fun modern circuit. Now, modern circuit doesn't pair too well, I feel like, with these older Gen 4s or Gen 4s, sorry. As we know, they've kind of controlled like boats. So, looking around this track, you see turns 3, 4, 6, 7, and 9, 8. I'm saying it in a funny way because why not? You get these really tricky, really fast in other circuits, or in other series, but here they're really slow corners, and it's really fun watching them try to go through it. And then you have these really long straights to go up with them, so you're going to get really nice big braking zones, and I'm sure a lot of us are going to notice that we watch, especially anyone who's here who is more attuned to GT racing like I am. And through these hairpin at the end of it, you get this big long straight leading to the Wall of Champions. Now, I'm waiting to see someone hit it. I haven't seen anyone hit it yet in practice, but that also is once again another tricky corner. It's a strangely, deceptively slow corner, especially in these cars. I think it's just going to be a fun car track combo to watch, but these drivers are going to be fighting their cars the whole time.
And most of the corners here at Montreal are pretty much all chicanes, right? I mean, 1 and 2, that starts out as a chicane, turns into a bit of a carousel around turn number 2. 3 and 4, chicane. 5 is kind of just a sweeper. 6 and 7, chicane. 8 and 9, chicane. 10, hairpin. 11, not a corner. 12, not a corner. 13, 14, that's a chicane. That's just kind of how the circuit was built, but it still has great flow. It still is a very, very fun place to race, and I will say in these cars in particular, it's going to be a challenge. Just watching these guys in practice a little bit, my little bit of experience here at Montreal and stock cars, it's going to be a challenge for sure. I mentioned, though, that we're getting into chase time for this series. We can take a look at the NORA Retro Cup Series chase standings, at least as we are through 17 races of 36, 9 to go, including this evening. Hunter Sr. still on top, but that lead is dwindling. It is narrowing up, and Dalton Tucker just continues to make up points left and right. After this one, it's going to be close. I don't know that Hunter's going to have the points lead going into Daytona next week, but anything is certainly possible. We've seen it all. It feels like just the opening 17 races here of the NORA Retro Cup Series for 2026. Josh Kahn over there in third place, Chase Durheim, Brian Jones, they are kind of in right now. They are more than one race to the good at this point in time. That is half of the chase field. Kevin Baumler is not far back either. So as these weeks wind down to September and to the chase, we're really looking at Vincent Arthur through about Brady Motes. I'd be hard-pressed to even consider the 42 of Cody Smith in contention at this point, 145 back. Similar to how I'm kind of considering Kevin Baumler locked in at this point, I just don't think much is going to change there, at least quickly enough for either of those two drivers, whether it's Kevin to fall out or Cody to make it in. So really we're watching from Vincent Arthur in 7th all the way down to Brady Motes in 13th. Those 7 or so drivers are going to have the meat and potatoes of this battle, and we'll be talking about one of them here this evening quite a bit. Kyle Tubb and Ronnie Norman just about tied on that cut line. Tubb is one up, Norman's one down. That's actually a subject we'll be talking about in tonight's pre-race show right here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We have a driver to talk to. He's actually one of the two drivers on that cut line. In this case, he's on the outside looking in. That's Ronnie Norman. We can dial up driver number 7 as he gets ready to go racing here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. In fact, he's already ready for us. He's not even in his car right now. He is waiting on this race to start. And Ronnie, obviously, we just looked at the point standings, and we just looked at the fact that you are one down in this little cut line battle between you and Kyle Tubb. There's a lot more to it, a lot more going on than just you and the 32 car. What's it like kind of trying to keep tabs with your competitors as we go to all these diverse racetracks through the summer and try to always be better than them?
Yeah, you definitely got to have your work cut out for you with some of these road courses in here. I know I didn't really help myself at Sonoma. Wasn't really feeling it. It just wasn't really set to my liking, and I think I kind of pulled off that one early. I just wasn't trying to. I already ruined Hunter's Day getting in the back of him, and I felt bad doing that. So yeah, Sonoma was just one of them days. But coming here, a little bit different. I feel comfortable in the car. I don't feel too bad. It's just trying to get these braking points down and trying to get grip to these tires when trying to get up and go. It's just a little slippery out there. So yeah, I seen today that I was just one under the cut and to Kyle there. So you know, it's long season, still plenty of racing to go, and still plenty of points to be made.
And it's interesting, of course, you're driving the Robbie Gordon number 7. He was typically pretty good on road courses back in the day when he ran that number 7. I'm not going to lie, leaving a little bit to be wishing for back at Sonoma. Do we see a better run tonight? Do we see you get up there maybe closer to that top 10 here this evening at Montreal?
If I can somehow snag a top 10, I'm going to take that all day here. So as long as I can keep it clean, just keep the front end on the car, try not to break hop too much. Hopefully we'll be up there. But yeah, it's going to be a little battle. I've taken another second or two off here. Like I said, it's just these braking points, just trying to get them down. I guess from what I'm hearing, you can't really go off of the countdown numbers here on the track with these cars. You got to try to kind of make your own braking points. And with how big this track is and trying to remember them turn after turn and where you're at and what you're going into, it's definitely going to be an interesting evening for sure.
Gee, Blue, that sounds exactly like what I was telling you a little bit ago about the brake markers not really mattering for these guys tonight, because this racetrack, of course, is typically seen sports car racing, Formula One racing even, and these big heavy stock cars just don't quite apply to the general rules of this racetrack. And so I got to ask as well, Ronnie, between Montreal and some other road courses just on iRacing in general, where would you like to see NORA look for another road course, kind of a third road course date in the future?
Ooh, oh boy, I don't know. I think Chicago would be interesting in these cars for sure. I've got some laps in there. It's not really that much of a diverse, you know, coming to one of these tracks here. So I wouldn't mind running Chicago street course for sure. Just like I said, I've got a little bit of experience there, but other than that, I don't really know. I mean, I think everybody would be okay with it, you know, knowing that it's like actually on the schedule. So yeah, that's kind of where I would lean toward.
Well, Ronnie, good to talk to you as always. Best of luck this evening. We got to talk to that Brady Moats guy next, so try to give him some trouble out there.
Yeah, good luck with that guy. He's a handful for sure.
All right, Ronnie, thanks for talking to us.
Yep, thank you.
That's Ronnie Norman at the number 7. And boy, yeah, I mean, Robbie Gordon, when he ran this number 7 of the NASCAR Cup Series Blue, I know you're not really part of the NASCAR childhood like I was, but Robbie Gordon, I mean, he got his only NASCAR win at a road course. I think it was at Sonoma, so that's just kind of his MO. Robbie, of course, a stadium super truck aficionado, and when he ran in NASCAR, he was always best on the road courses. Ronnie, though, a little different, admittedly, leaving a little bit to be desired on the road courses so far. That said, we've talked a lot about this track, as hello, Ryan Housden. We've talked a lot about this racetrack and these cars and exactly how it's going to work for these guys tonight. Let's take a look at exactly the cars they're driving around this facility. We've talked about this graphic a lot this season. This is maybe the perfect use for it, because when you think of Montreal, it's kind of a hybrid street course, hybrid road course. When you think of this racetrack, it typically goes hand in hand with sports cars, whether it's prototypes, GT cars, or most commonly, I think, open wheelers, Formula One. These cars are very different. I will say the power output numbers are similar, 900 horsepower. That's about where the similarities end. A lot of power, and just not a lot of great ways to stop it or turn it around these corners. You are bargaining with the car every single corner. Will you please just turn in? Will you please find the exit? And oh, we're spinning. If you're lucky. I mean, it's very easy to end up in a bad situation in any one of these corners, especially hard braking zones. A little bit of turn in at some of these braking zones as well, with how early you'll have to brake. It's going to be a challenge tonight.
I'm expecting to see some lockups coming into the hairpin, especially into the hairpin, and even coming through 13, 14, we might see a few. Especially turns one, though. Turn one, I've been watching where these guys are braking. They are braking before that little right-hand turn, so I wouldn't be surprised to see someone lock it up and maybe spear it into a couple of drivers trying to make their way through turn one. Not on purpose, of course. Not on purpose.
Fair enough. Well, we've got another driver to talk to. We can ask how he's doing with this car here, and that is the aforementioned Brady Moats, who, I'm going to be honest, when you look back at Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2005 or so, the number 8 car never did well on road courses, despite his attempts to run in Grand Am back in the day. But Brady, you've been pretty solid on road, whether it's been... Did I load the wrong graphic? I did. Well... Brady, I'm sorry. We'll use this one instead. Regardless, you've been solid on the road courses, whether it's been BRB on Tuesdays in the ARCA car or even back at Sonoma a couple of weeks ago here on the NORA side. What is it? Why do you run the 8 car if you're actually decent on road courses?
Well, I mean, Mr. Conover was technically supposed to be in the 8, but he bailed on me last year. All jokes aside, I don't really know. I'm definitely not as good at the ovals as I am at the road courses, but some would consider me like the AJ Allmendinger. I'm kind of washed up on the road now. These guys are just worked at it so hard throughout the years that now they're all a lot better than me. So a lot better than me and Vinny. So because there for a while, pretty consistently, it was me and Vinny 1-2 with Mr. Conover in third, but in these league races. But now there's a lot more guys on the scene, and it's hey, I still love it. It's still fun. I love making rights and lefts more than I like making lefts, but all in all, just enjoy it. Love this track. This track is awesome. Great addition to the schedule. No matter what happens, I mean, honestly, the track is just so fun to drive. It's just such a driver's track.
And I'll reuse a question I asked Ronnie. If we're going to be looking at an extra track here for NORA to run on, as far as road courses go, whether it's Montreal or another time-accurate feeling kind of track, where would you like to see us go? It's becoming a bit of a buzz topic here in the series.
I'll tell you what I really like to go is honestly Mexico or St. Pete. I'm not sure where St. Pete coincides with the time side, but I know that we've just done some stuff goofing off there in this car when it first came out, and man, it is rowdy. It would be a pleasure to see that on the schedule for just fun and racing with the guys and everything. And but I feel like Mexico is like pretty close to the time. I think the Nationwide Series ran there in 08, 09, something like that. I don't know. You may be able to help me, Andrew. You're a bit better of a historian than I am, but that would kind of help. I mean, it would kind of coincide with the time a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, this car has a lot of potential in a lot of road places. Honestly, it drives pretty good on the road comparative to some of this other stuff like the COT and everything, but it's pretty fun.
I'm glad you brought up NASCAR's brief early stint at Mexico City. That was, I believe, 04, 05, 06, may have just been 04, 05. Martin Truex, one of the winners of that race for the NASCAR Busch Series down in Mexico City. And that was a really fun race at the time. And I think it actually lasted till 07 even, because I recall when I was going back and watching NASCAR Busch 2007, here at Montreal, I recall there being a couple of drivers that ran at Mexico and then at Montreal that year. Anyways, I digress. As far as this chase battle goes, you're kind of a ways out, admittedly. You've been stagnant in 13th spot for a little while. How are we going to change that?
Yeah, man, I mean, we just got to finish. I mean, truthfully, we haven't been finishing at all this year. This has been one of my worst years, honestly, in this league. A lot of guys kind of attest to that and tell you that ever since pretty much my rookie season, I have not probably had an average finish this bad. I mean, it's been pretty much a year to forget so far, but if we could turn around and make the chase, man, I mean, that'd be huge. After the start of the season I had, I mean, it was abysmal there for a little bit. I had like a streak of DNFs and everything else, but honestly, I just finish. I mean, I don't know what my ARP is, my average running position is, but I mean, I'd imagine it's somewhere close to the top 5 or top 10. And I mean, I feel like that's what I'm going to need is just keep grinding away and keep finishing races and do the best I can.
So does that mean I can ask anybody else tonight, hey, is that guy in the 8 car really that bad right now?
Yes, absolutely. You sure can. Because I am that bad right now.
Brady, it's good to talk to you as always. Best of luck. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to shout out my wife real quick if I don't get a chance to be in the booth here in a little bit. Just appreciate her for letting me run and everything like that. And maybe I'll be able to make the chase if I have to miss a few races for my son coming along. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I just want to shout out her. Appreciate her for everything. And appreciate you, Andrew, and y'all for always putting on a great show for us.
Absolutely. Always glad to be here. That's Brady Moats, the driver of the number 8. And a lot going on for him as he gets ready to go racing here this evening at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Next up on our list, well, it's time for Gas and Go. This is my favorite segment of the broadcast that we've introduced into this pre-race show. So, Blue, I know you're new to how this works. I am going to throw you under the bus a little bit, but I won't do it too badly, I promise. So, as for Gas and Go, it's kind of a bit of a trip back to what the NASCAR and Fox pre-race show used to look like a little bit. And we've got some topics to go through. The first of those being this evening, are there more road courses on the way? And I'll start my little timer over here. I will kind of parry off of you a little bit here because we have Montreal added here this season. The rumor has been we're looking at maybe a street course next season, and St. Pete kind of seems to lead that. I know you aren't necessarily ingrained in NASCAR culture like we are, but is there one that maybe comes to mind for you?
Now, I'm not much ingrained in NASCAR culture, but this is one video I saw quite some time ago. I'm thinking Long Beach. I saw it ran in officials, and it looked so much fun.
I would love to see that. We actually did Long Beach with BRB last season in ARCA cars. I think it can work. Let's go ahead and get on to the next one. That is Tubb or Norman. We spoke with Ronnie Norman just moments ago. Tubb is 1 up. Norman's 1 down. They are on either side of the cut line. Between them, who makes the chase? Frankly, I don't know. I think my gut wants to tell me Ronnie Norman is a little more consistent, but we look at Kyle Tubb. He's 5th quick tonight on practice charts. And let me get that back up, actually. He's 5th quick. I think that alone could be what sets Kyle Tubb and Ronnie Norman apart. We have 9 races to go, including 2 road courses here tonight and then again in a few weeks at Watkins Glen. So for that reason, I'm feeling like we might actually see Kyle Tubb take the edge because he's nearly as good on ovals as Norman, and he's better, clearly, on road courses. Subject number 3 here, though. Let me get 2 out of the way. There we go. We're still working on getting this fine-tuned, I promise. But will Winstone challenge Malone? We've not really talked about it yet this evening, but Chris Winstone has made the switch over here to run this evening in the NORA Retro Cup Series. There you see him, and I'll talk more about the paint scheme later, but there you see him in the number 27 car. He's racing tonight. This is the oldest stock car he's ever driven, and he's third quick on practice charts right now. We keep talking about this guy. We're getting him into more and more leagues, and here he is now in NORA. I don't know that he challenges Malone, but he's 3rd, so let's keep the hypotheticals running, right? As practice wraps up, let's take it, run with it a little bit. Maybe we see this guy battle for the win this evening. Certainly would love to see that, as we've kind of started a team over here in NORA a little bit. We've taken up Kirk Shelmerdine Racing, so the 27 there for Chris Winstone, and then also the 72 this evening for Anthony Campbell. There he is, running the number 72 with a kind of customized deck lid. He's on Discord as Mr. Subway, so we had to make sure he represented on the deck lid of the car. Oh, do you?
I know Campbell quite well. He was on a team of mine. He is actually quite the driver.
He is. I'm excited to see how he does this evening, but As the pre-race show comes to an end, we have a moment here that we can still kind of talk about some stuff before we go racing, as these guys are gridding up. Where are we at? I think towards turn 9. Yeah, turn 9-ish. Between 9 and 10. So a shorter pace lap. Let's get ready then and do this quick. We've got power rankings and fantasy to go through. Fantasy is wrapping up about now. I think we can reasonably give you until about 8:35, maybe, to make your picks, but the cutoff time is technically a minute ago. So if you've not picked, I'll give you like a moment here to do so for the NORA fantasy game. You've got to get your picks in. Make them now for what is going to be the 18th race on the calendar this season. The chase is coming right up very, very soon. And as for the standings in our fantasy game for NORA, let's take a look at them. I took a big hit last week. I'm now a little farther out. I'm in 5th. But Josh Conover and Kevin Baumler did well. In fact, Jennifer Housden, if you're watching tonight, Jennifer, congratulations. You won last week at Chicagoland. We'll see who's able to get it this week. And Zach Burtis not here with us tonight, but he is back into the top 10 here in the fantasy game. Blue, we're seeing how you do this evening. I know you only picked for the winner, but we'll at least track that, I suppose, as we get ready to go racing here. And a quick look over as well at the power rankings coming into this evening. This is where things have really changed, and we're going to come back to this because Vincent Arthur picked up a ton last week at Chicagoland just by finishing in the podium back-to-back. From Sonoma to Chicago. So a big couple of weeks for Vincent Arthur. He's now on top. Dalton Tucker unseated from the lead for the first time in several weeks. Chase Durheim's win keeps him up there towards the top 3. Brian Jones stays up there. Josh Conover took a big hit, as did Hunter Sr. Jacob Gladulich and Donald Kite are both back in the top 10. With Kevin Baumler getting a bump up there to 8th as well. So the power ranking is a little bit all over. A lot to look at there. Certainly, as we continue on here in the season. And a quick look at our starting grid. Let's go through it. We've got about 26 cars here this evening. Jacob Malone on pole in car number 18. Ryan Housden will start from 2nd. This is the same front row we had at Sonoma, but Housden started on pole in that race and made a lane change before turn 1 and got a penalty and had to go to the back, and that kind of derailed his entire race from there. I'll be excited to see these two actually duke it out tonight at Montreal. Back in row 2, it's Josh Conover and Dalton Tucker. Row 3 gives us Kyle Tubb and Dustin Kleba. A little bit farther back, row number 4, we can get a look at Brady Motes and Vincent Arthur. I expect that 24 to move up as this race goes on in its early stages. Your top 10 concludes with Nick Hom and Hunter Sr. Back in 11th, it's John Skavnicki alongside Ronnie Norman. Slightly deeper in the field, Caden Henry Oaks, Chase Durheim. Caden was a lot quicker in practice earlier on, but these guys found some pace later in the session. Keep an eye out for the 5 car, though. I think he's got some driving chops on him. I think he'll do well tonight. Chase Durheim was kind of all over, admittedly, in practice, so best of luck to our winner from last week. Cody Anderson starts 15th, Brian Jones from 16th, Kevin Baumler and Jacob Gladulich there in row 9. And they'll be followed by Nick Gillis and Matthew George to complete the top 20. A little deeper, Jake Christenberry, Brad Fulham, Caden Perkins, and Anthony Krobach making, I believe, his first start, maybe second start of the season. Good to see him here this evening. And finally, Chris Winstone and Anthony Campbell, our beloved Shelmerdine cars at the back of the field, the 27 and 72. They'll be gridding up behind the rest. Here we go. A quick look at Whiplash SimCam's race details. 52 laps, 140.9 miles. About 227 kilometers. The rest is as the same as you would expect it. And boy, Josh Conover has thrown us a bone. He gave us a pace lap. I was here trying to single-handedly get to the start of the race, but he's given us an extra pace lap here, Blue. That's going to impact fuel numbers as well. Not only do we get more time to actually talk about this race tonight, but fuel numbers. That's going to burn a little bit of fuel here. I don't know exactly how far they can go. Typically, these guys do give us a range, and yeah, actually about 21 laps for Gladulich is what he says. That, you know, let's loosen that up, right? Because pace does matter, depending on how early you're downshifting, how late you're upshifting, for example.
Yeah.
So, let's say 19 to 23. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say so. And you also consider putting in the clutch in the corners and stuff. I do want to, real quick, take a bit of a deviation and back to the pace car going an extra lap. You also have to consider tire temps and how worn your tires are. How much are these guys going to warm their tires while going through? how much is that going to wear them out, and then how cold are they going to be if they don't warm their tires going this extra lap that they didn't expect.
Yeah, it's certainly an opportunity to do a bit of tire warming, fuel saving, put the clutch in, ride around the racetrack a little bit, try to keep the revs low, and I'm curious actually what maybe Chris Winstone will be doing, as he's our resident road specialist. This is something maybe he's got to learn from the NASCAR guys. He's sitting here in second gear. No, put that thing in fourth. Put it in fourth gear. Put the clutch in. Coast around here.
That, and I was actually going to say he's probably going to wait till the back straight there to warm him, but he seems to be keeping him pretty toasty.
We're on the pace lap. Sorry, Blue. I went quiet there. I'm on the pace lap, and
okay.
I just got handed a bowl of Hershey's ice cream from the place in town here. And I don't know what to do with my hands. I wasn't expecting that. I never had ice cream and a broadcast control at the same time. Regardless, we'll get it figured out. We'll get this show on the road here this evening. 52 laps. It's going to be a long-ish one. It was initially slated to be 81 laps, and that's a little long. When the Busch Series ran here was 72. Yeah, 81 might have taken a little while, but it's good to be here. It truly is. For those of you watching, a big thank you to our partners, and certainly all of you watching, but our partners here at the channel and the series, Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, Dark Star Garage, as well as Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murder Sports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. It's time to let these guys go racing here in Canada. The first trip for the league over the border. This is going to be a fun one. You see him through the Wall of Champions now and exiting onto the front straightaway. Jacob Malone, pole sitter. Will he mind his P's and Q's into turn one? Will somebody else make a mistake? 52 laps north of the border in Canada begins now at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Green flag. And decent through turn one. Everybody minding themselves nicely that first corner. Problems though, Dustin Kleba's around towards the back. He will go straight to 25th spot.
It's one of the worst parts about spinning this early into the race. You don't get the chance on a circuit like this to get going until everyone has passed you. Unless you want to cause a wreck, which, in my experience, not the greatest idea.
No, not usually. Problems as well for Ronnie Norman and Jake Christenberry early in the lap. Christenberry turned around. He'll get back going. Some damage there as Norman goes by. There's the number 7, and Kleba in the number 9 continues on as well. Jacob Malone leads the way down a little deeper in the lap. There as well. There's a look at the fans. Here we go. Turns 6 and 7 now. First time around for these guys. There is not much room. I call this place a hybrid street course and road course for a reason.
And something I hope people are picking up watching the 18 here, this is something I noticed while watching the 18 do some laps in practice compared to everyone else, is the confidence in this car around here. We got 24 and 8 racing. Here we go.
Lap 1 already. A couple of most iconic paint schemes in the sport going door for door. That's Arthur and Moats, 5th place as we work to wrap up lap number 1. There is the number 18, Jacob Malone. 1 lap in the books here as he'll come across the start-finish line following the Wall of Champions. Let the entire field cycle through, and then barring anything crazy down here in 1 and 2, we'll take a look back at lap 1.
There's some 3 wide I think I just saw.
That was Tom, Arthur, Moats, that whole category of drivers. Arthur a little slow out of turn 2. He loses some spots. He'll drop down to 6th place. Look at these guys. Hunter Sr. ahead of Brian Jones, Caden Henry Oaks. They're doing battle. Chase Durheim is right there. Nick Geilis in this conversation. He's got Gladgelich. He's got Anderson. A lot going on. It's only lap 2. This is a pretty long race as Krobach takes a look here at Gladgelich. This is for 15th. And already there's Winstone.
Winstone making moves. He knows he has the moves. He knows he has the brakes. He's putting them to use with a little bit of a lunge into the inside.
Meanwhile, there's Campbell a little farther back. He is still just ahead of those guys who all had trouble there on the opening lap as Jacob Malone continues to run. He is out of the hairpin here on lap 2. Let's go and get a look back at what happened lap 1. Bear with me, the ice cream is melting and it's getting all over the place. Anyways, go a little farther back here to the very beginning. I want to see what happened to the number 7 and the 9 here. Kleba actually just went wide, and I think he pulled over and let these guys all go, which is interesting. It wasn't even a spin there. I wonder, as there's Norman then around, maybe that's why he decided to back out and let those guys go. So here's the start. Oh, he did not go anywhere there initially. That's why he pulled off. He was having trouble getting through the gears. And then enter Ronnie Norman. Watch Brian Jones on the inside. Actually, it was Durheim that sends the 7 around.
Wonder if the 7 is going to just let that one go.
Meanwhile, wait for this. Here's the number 11 of Jake Christenberry. He was out last week battling the flu. Here at turn 3, problems there. Krobach just taps him. A little bit of a checkup, and they all get on through. So honestly, that was a lot easier than it could have been. As problems now for our points leader. Hunter Sr. turned around mid-portion of the lap. This is early. That's out of turn 4. We'll see here if it was with help or if it was on his own.
Could be either or way, knowing how kind of loose these cars are and how tight they are at the same time. Just gets it wrong.
I'm really not even sure what to tell him there. Frankly, I don't think he did too much wrong. I do wonder if maybe he had let the steering open up a little more on corner exit, though. If maybe he wouldn't have spun. It seemed like he kept it pretty tight to keep off the curbing. 'Cause that shouldn't spin you. That shouldn't spin you. It was just power and keeping it a little too tight, I think. Man.
Yeah, I think just got on the power. 900 horsepower machines here. It's not going to be too kind to you, getting on too quickly.
There's Housen still leading. Meanwhile, Vincent Arthur under fire from Josh Conover. I theorize that you might see the 24 a little farther up the field, but so far, not a great look for the 24. He's down in 6th spot. He finished, he was in that battle with Tucker, 2nd and 3rd for Sonoma. I believe he finished 2nd over Tucker. And then finished 2nd again last week, if I recall correctly, at Chicago. So Arthur's had some great finishes, but his teammate Conover not far back right now. It's still early, obviously, and these guys are still trying to figure this whole thing out.
And I think they figured out here that that little bit of green isn't that bad to take.
Moats and Tubb, and that's the battle up here, 4th and 5th. They are just behind the 3 car of Tucker. And this might be our farthest forward battle of the evening. Obviously, we are well aware of the run that Malone is on this evening. We don't expect to see any cautions. We certainly can have them, for instance, for incidents, I should say, but none yet. As Malone will wrap up lap number 4, 4.5 seconds, nearly 4 3/4 of a second over Brian Housen. A little farther back, you see Tucker, Tubb, and Moats. Tubb with a problem off the corner. That'll allow Moats to go on through, as there you see the purple lap for Jacob Malone on the 18 car. Christenberry, trouble in the hairpin. 2 have parked it already. 1 is George, the other is Kleba. And Campbell is now in the pit lane. He has parked it. He has towed to the pit lane.
That looks tow-worthy to me.
Go back and see what happened to the driver of the 72. His first start this season. A first start for that team. And, oh man, he just got loose and straight binned it.
It looks almost just like another conversation of power here. Let's look at the revs here. Let me listen to it. Nice and slow through 1 and 2. Yep, just got on it, and I don't think the tires were gripped up all the way, and then you get the spin, and then the tires grip up while spinning, but then the tires are spinning way faster than the rest of your car spinning. I mean, then you spin. It's a spin catastrophe here.
Meanwhile, it appears that Dustin Kleba has self-parked in the 23rd position and will not take part any farther in tonight's event. Caden Perkins also did not take the green flag this evening, despite being here tonight for this race. So 4 cars out early. That leaves us with 22. Go ahead.
I'll say this is going to bring up something I wanted to bring up earlier. This is going to test a lot of the drivers and just their ability to keep going. It's going to be one of these races where just going and finishing is going to get you something here, because there's going to be a lot of drivers who aren't going to be able to keep it going.
That's exactly it. Attrition is always a big part of road course racing, especially in NASCAR stock cars for, 100, 150, 200 miles. In this case, we're doing 140 tonight. Decently lengthy race, as there goes Krobach into turn 1 on By Durheim, who won last week at Chicagoland.
And while we have a bit of them, I want to wind back to something I was talking about earlier. I was talking about the number 18 and the way the 18 was driving compared to everyone else here. And you can notice who knows what they're doing here on a road course. Is we get the 27 peeking inside of the 16.
Well, I want to talk specifically about these two cars because the Kirk Shelmerdine racing team back in 2004 and 2005, I think actually more so in 2005, got some cars that had been raced by Roush Fenway Racing in 2004, specifically by Greg Biffle. So, you see the 16 back there, that's the Greg Biffle car, if you will. As Conover had a problem, we'll check that out in a second. He is down here now in 12th. He was just up there in 7th. So a big problem for the 48 car. Winstone will go by. But more on that 27 car. The number 27 actually, well, 72 I think it was in 04 when they ran it. Regardless, the Shelmerdine car ran an old Biffle car, and it was just the same paint scheme stripped down. They kept the paint scheme on it. They took all the decals off of it and put their own decals on it, so we wanted to go for that same kind of look. We'll use this paint scheme a little more for the 27 and 72 as the season goes on, but it was kind of fun to see those two side by side for a brief moment as Skavnicki is slow out of the Wall of Champions. That's likely for a slowdown, I would think. However, Josh Conover's issue certainly was not just a slowdown. Loose there, that was out of 6 and 7. He was already slow before that. But that certainly didn't help. He took a while to get up to speed from there and let 4 cars go by just from, what was that, turn 8 to turn 10. Remember, Conover was just with Arthur not long ago, and even here, Arthur has long taken off. Even, you see these guys, Hom, Henry Oakes, Jones, they had gotten by the 48 car. Here comes the 48, and he is just struggling. Boy, oh boy.
Giving a little eat you know?
Yeah, the eat I like that. That's a good way to... Technical terms here.
Okay. All the technical terms.
Battle here for 15th. Cody Anderson, Nick Geilis. This is relatively deep in the field, yet just behind the 48. There goes Anderson wide. So position change.
Give it a nice scoop to the 33, is what I would say there.
And problems now for Tucker. Looks like he had a slowdown penalty out of the Wall of Champions. He's going to give up 2 spots, maybe a third if Arthur gets by. He's into the grass there at turn 1. I mean, you can tell these guys have burnt their tires up. One thing we've not yet looked at, Blue, the weather temps. The track temp for this race. You see 73 in the air and only 91 on track. I wouldn't think it would be that bad of tire deg, but clearly these guys are struggling.
Oh, we had worse at Sonoma, but maybe it's different for these guys. Maybe it's just hotter in Canada, in California.
You'd be surprised, honestly. We've had some pretty hot races at Montreal before, as And there goes Winstone by the 49 of Krobach. He is now officially in the top 10 after starting on the very back row of this field. Anderson, meanwhile, back to this little fight. Actually, hang on. Position change. The 3 and 24, they were just after it. This is 5th and 6th.
27 having a nice little, last to first challenge.
Yeah.
Little switchback looking for it, doesn't get it. Coming around the hairpin. Not quite switchback, that isn't the right word, but attempted to move around hairpin.
You see in the foreground there are Moats and Tubb into the final couple of corners. Lap 9. Actually, probably lap 8 for them. 9 is the lap that the leader's on, which, man, I don't know that he's going to lap the entire field here tonight, but it's going to be a significant portion.
11 seconds and 9 laps on Housden. I mean, Malone's gone.
Problems. Brian Jones out of the final corner. He's gone for a spin, and here comes the 48 and 28 both to stop. They have slowdowns, it seems. That's getting a lot of these guys, particularly in that final corner. Let's see what happened, though. That was a full spin, it seemed, for the 45. And he's on his own here.
I can see it already. There it is.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Too much curb. And maybe a little too fast. This isn't Formula 1, right? This isn't Formula 1.
Well, I mean, that's the tricky thing about it. I think more so about iRacing's tire model than anything of, stock cars traditionally have used a lot of curb on these road courses, especially, Gen 4 cars like we're racing here tonight. So these drivers, I think, automatically want to go for the curbs because typically the cars can handle it, but iRacing's tire model doesn't really allow for a whole lot of slip angle before you're just completely out of control. So I think the cars, the suspensions themselves certainly can handle that kind of curb usage, as Giles has the trouble out of there. That was turns, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, one of them. Regardless, the cars physically can handle it, the tires on iRacing, not so much.
I didn't bringing up turn numbers. Every time you bring up turn 6 and 7, I'm doing the vote.
If I did that, I'd be slinging ice cream all over the wall, my monitor, my keyboard. Problems!
Oh!
Two of the favorites of the series, Tucker and Arthur, the 3 and 24. Boy, I mean, it's 90s NASCAR up in here. Problems at turns 1 and 2. Nick Hom pulls up behind him. Let's see what happened here between these two. Remember, these guys battled for 2nd and 3rd at Sonoma. And they easily each have the ability to do it again here at Montreal, but so far it's not looking good. Arthur, a better roll through 2, just gives him a shot, checks up, and he does let him get back going. I'm sure he was apologizing profusely, but the damage is done. They lost a ton of time there.
24 keeping it honest, though, not taking the spot, letting him go.
Trouble as well for Brian Jones. This is turns 3 and 4 for the 45 car. Looks like he might have had a slowdown. He lit up my timing tower red there for a second. He practically stopped the car. Here's the thing, guys. If you're listening to me right now, and you're in the race, you probably don't have to stop every time you get a slowdown. Just lift early and brake a little early into the next corner and bleed that time down. It typically gives you 30-40 seconds to do it.
Just lift down a straight or something. You'll lose the time quite quickly. Believe me.
I'm glad I have Kayla's support. She was the one who delivered the ice cream to me this evening. Most of it's still sitting here. The scoop is turning into soup. Thankfully, it's mostly intact, mostly contained.
Is it good?
It's pretty solid. So what she told me it is, apparently, is a caramel cheesecake cookie monster. She knows me so well. That's kind of the range of what I typically like to go for at, say, a cookout or even a Cold Stone, that kind of thing. I always get cheese, or what is it? Is it the cheesecake ice cream? Yeah, the cheesecake ice cream mixed in with something else, with graham crackers. In fact, most recently at Cold Stone, I think I did cheesecake ice cream with the Oreo. I mean, it's just cookies and cream. And then more Oreo bits and graham cracker. That's it. Just an Oreo cheesecake. I'm simple, but I very much have my distinct tastes I like to go for, and she very much knows that.
Indeed. I love, anytime I go to a place, Dairy Queen, McDonald's, whatever, maybe for ice cream, I get Oreo. I will admit, I get Oreo. Oreo Blizzard, Oreo, like, flurry, any of it, Oreo. It's so good. It's so good, and I'm not going to listen to any others say it's not. Because you're wrong. This isn't even an opinion, it's factual. You're wrong.
Battle here for third. Kyle Tubb putting some pressure on Brady Moats.
Here we go.
We might have a change of position here. We will. Tubb up the inside.
No. It's not guaranteed yet. It's the left-right. It's the left-right. 32's going to get ahead. 8's going to get back here, though.
Fair enough. Moats gets the angle through turn 2 and able to put power back down and has a spot back into turn 3. I'll be honest here, Blue. I might need one of Kyle's Tide pens before this is over. Really close there. Tubb up against the wall. Dives into turn 5. Big move, and Moats gives it to him. I think that was some frustration, maybe. Light frustration, but a little bit of frustration for Kyle Tubb, realizing, hey, I'm faster than you, Brady. Let me go. These guys already
gonna stay that way.
That's fair. As these tires continue to wear them, they're only about halfway through the run, a little over half. At most, like 60% through the run. They've got a ways to go, and there you see Tubb dropping a wheel there out of turn 7.
Tubb now potentially kind of over pushing the car, trying to get away from Brady.
There they go, exiting the hairpin, back on power, up through the gears. Other side of the racetrack, there is Brian Jones. He's trying to hunt down Cody Anderson. It says Baumler. He's actually passed Baumler on this lap, so the delta that it's showing is correctly tracking to Anderson, but the name only updates at the start-finish line.
Can I go on a small rant about iRacing with that?
Please do. I've got ice cream to eat.
Yeah. Man, okay. Every time I'm doing a race and I'm trying to do something that has anything to do with the standings, anything to do with the relative. I remember the first time I had to do an iRacing safety car by hand in another league I run, or don't run, but I help with quite heavily. I almost got the wrong name because they only updated at the line. Just update it as it's going. It's not that hard. You guys do it with the relative. iOverlay does it with the relative. iOverlay will do it when this pass actually made, even in standings. So why can't iRacing do it as it's happening? Why can't we update this as it's going? There you go. Now it's updated to Anderson. Wait.
My mid ice cream thoughts there. I believe
That's right.
It is Anderson, yes. I believe the goal is to emulate what scoring softwares like Race Monitor give. If you've been around the real racetrack, especially short tracks down here in the southeast, but really, I mean, worldwide, Race Monitor is used by a lot of kart racing and road racing and stuff. Regardless, it only updates at each scoring loop, and typically, for grassroots racing, that one scoring loop is the start-finish line. You typically don't have extra scoring loops, so that's even what NASCAR talks about. I mean, they have, live GPS tracking. They can get the exact timing, but they go back to scoring loops for, race-ending scoring often. Who was out front of the last scoring loop before the caution came out to end the race. They're going back to physically where that wire is laid in the track to pick up, each transponder pinging across it. Obviously, you can't lay a scoring loop every inch or every foot around the racetrack. That's just not feasible. So there's select spots, say 20 or so, throw out a number around a NASCAR racetrack, and the timing officially updates at each one of those locations. SMT can pull some positional data from satellites and maybe fine-tune in between, but realistically, that's where the scoring actually updates, is at each one of those loops. So I think iRacing, certainly iRacing can calculate that in between. We have it on our scoring pylon here on the broadcast. It's a virtual world. We can do that, but I think the standing screen in the sim, the UI, is meant to kind of emulate that one scoring loop. It updates the line each time. That way as well, it's not all over the place every time, quite like the relative, every time there's a crash or something.
That's fair. That's fair. And I mean, I do get it. Though you are giving me some insight some insight, because I've only been to a real track and I've only watched. I've never been behind the scenes at a real circuit. So pretty interesting knowledge to get.
Every time we go on one of these tangents, we should have the more you know little imagination star across the screen. Regardless, you're watching the race leader Jacob Malone approach Jacob Gladulich and Brad Fulham. They are 20th and 21st, the final cars on the racetrack. Our points leader Hunter Sr. has parked it, and that is going to be a huge storyline moving out of Montreal tonight. That almost guarantees that Alton Tucker will take over the points lead, as it's Winstone and Hom doing battle at turn 1. Winstone goes through at 7th.
I know I talked to Winstone before the race. I was going to bring this up earlier while you were talking about Winstone and Campbell. Winstone actually felt pretty inconfident when it came to starting in the back. I came in and jokingly said, "All right, can I put you as my win pick for tonight? Are you going to win it?" And he said no. And I don't think it's going to be quite a win, but it's quite the show so far. Winstone going around.
Yeah, I
starting
mean,
25th.
Yeah, you see the 25th spot. It's not even a quarter of the way through the race, is it? I mean, I guess we are just past a quarter. Yeah, we are just past a quarter. I guess we'll move the goalpost. We're not even a third of the way through the race, and he's really gotten through the field. I mean, it's going to be harder as he keeps going, but I don't see why he can't catch at least the next 2 or 3.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a podium. I'm just saying it. I'm just going to say it. I would not be surprised to see a podium out of Winstone here tonight.
Battle here between Jones and Anderson. Also, we've had problems for Calvin Baumler, the number 81 pole sitter last week at Chicago. He is in trouble, and in trouble heftily here. Let's go back and see what happened to the driver of the 81.
Overcooking it? Oh, that's a big overcook. Ooh.
Seems to have lost front grip.
Lost the bite in the front.
Easy way to put it when I'm trying to scoop up ice cream. But I mean, realistically, down in the brakes, there's a downshift here maybe, but I think he just missed it. I think he just missed it, and he was going too fast for that car to turn, and that view I think supports that really strongly. He just simply braked too late, got into the corner way too hard, and in the wall he went. Meanwhile, battle for third still going on between these two, Moats and Tubb.
Tubb apparently not faster than Moats.
Yeah, maybe not. Or at least
fairly
not at this point in the run.
Are we seeing a bit of a lunge? No. 32 thinks better of it. Oh, wait, no, we get a bit alongside. A little spook to the gate, but the 8's going to have the better line through there and run away. 32 should not have put the nose in there, in my opinion, but I guess we're going to see how it turns out coming into the Wall of Champions.
Here we go. Hard on the brakes. Tubb up the inside, and he is going to have the point buy into the corner. Maybe not. Moats didn't give it to him, actually. And at that point, if you're Moats, just let him have the corner, get the exit, and try to get back alongside for turn 1.
But it's okay. After turn 2, there's another long straight here. See, maybe Moats is going to get it better than Tubb. looks to be a little bit faster through the corner, maybe.
Well, that battle has split apart. Still no pit stops for tires during this race. The only trips to pit lane, actually, have been for cars to enter and never return. George, Campbell, Kleba, Senior, now Baumler on that list. 5 cars have entered, 0 have exited. That's a trend we want to change. Hopefully we can get to pit stops and our proper pit cycle. And here we go. Malone, how about that for timing? He's into the pit lane after only 17 laps. That's early.
Looks a little fast in. We'll see if
They did have that
Stewart will
pace
give
lap.
some graciousness.
You're right about him being hot on entry. I think the pit cone, though, for timing is a little bit later on entry. Regardless, it was quick. As he's going to work down to his box. There's Housden. Housden enters behind him. That's what we were wanting to watch for. It took a century for him to get there, but...
There are tires.
Oh, yeah, I think tires every time. I don't see these guys doing the fuel-only strategies we saw on Sunday. I think Moats... Well, Tubb is in. Moats does not come in. He has gone long, and he's saved fuel, if I recall correctly, at Sonoma as well. Arthur and Tucker are in. Winstone stays out back there, so he will stay on the racetrack a little bit longer. So pit lane has opened up. Hom keeps going. Waiting for Krobach to finally get here. There's Krobach. He keeps going. But Caden Henry Oaks will pit. John Skavnicki stays out. Chase Durheim. Here we go. Ronnie Norman, Brian Jones, they all pit. Nick Geilis will stay out. Cody Anderson pits. Brian Jones pits. Josh Conover, I would hope, would pit after the struggles we saw in the 48 car. He will not. But Christenberry will. So Malone back on the racetrack. He is out of the hairpin. Look at the pit timer. 14.2 or 0.72 seconds. By the way, if you hear me adjusting my mic, don't worry, it's what that is. I have completed the ice cream challenge. 18 laps is what it took.
Round of applause. I don't know if you can hear, but round of applause.
Moats is not yet pitted. He is still 11 seconds behind Jacob Malone. Moats will now pit. It's interesting, this pit lane definitely mirrors the racetrack a little bit on entry, but it's absolutely different on exit, and there is speed to be had on pit lane exit. As you see, Fulham exiting his box, Moats is in, Winstone is in. And I'm curious to see how the road course racer, Chris Winstone, attacks this pit exit here. Obviously 4 tires. Each corner of the car, the jack is going to drop, and he's going to launch. Let's see what he's got. Slow out of the box.
Don't want to waste the tires now.
I hear you, but the traditional NASCAR way to do it is to buzz the heck out of those good years and keep on digging.
Well, we've talked about it in other leagues we've watched, and we both know Winstone's more from the GT side as I am, and I mean, I personally also don't waste my tires too hard. I give them a little bit of a spin, maybe put a little bit of heat into them coming out of the box, but otherwise I try to keep it nice and smooth because that's just going to be overall quicker.
I'm terrible about it. I like to do big smoky burnouts. I'm kind of simple-minded in that way. Well, most of the field has made their stops now. Conover is in here on lap 19. Hey, Rusty Rafferty in the YouTube chat this evening. Rusty, you missed the ice cream social, buddy. Gladulitch will pit, and he'll be about the final car to do so. Conover down and away. Maybe, maybe not. Was Josh Conover caught speeding? Or is he fixing damage? This seems like speeding. Yeah, I'm gonna guess so. Well, maybe not. 40 seconds. Oh, you know what? It could still be speeding. They have a unique procedure with how they handle those. I believe that was still a speeding infraction there for Conover. 25 seconds, though, between Jacob Malone and Ryan Housden. The beatdown is absolutely of astronomical proportions. I gotta be honest. I mean, Jacob Malone is just absolutely... I mean, driving away, I mean, there is certainly still racing to be had, and this will not be a boring race, I don't think, to the end, but he's not helping the boring accusations. If we're going to be entirely candid about it here, I mentioned in my open, Blue, as soon as we loaded in and saw how quick he was, yeah, we kind of knew how this would go.
Yeah, there's a reason I only made one pick for the fantasy game. I don't know the rest of the drivers. I don't know how the rest of them stand. I hope to learn. I hope I'm here enough to learn how they all go. But I saw how the 18's running, and I mean, I feel like that's a good bet.
Especially as he goes purple here. A couple of laps into this tire and fuel run. There you see the lap times on your screen. I will say, Arthur's last lap was quick. It was his best of the race, a 140.117. He's now up to third spot. So he picked up really nicely through that pit cycle. And he's in a very good spot all of a sudden. He's gotten away from that 3 car, Dalton Tucker, about 6 seconds up the road. So Arthur's doing well for himself, and he's got company. Here's Moats, here's Tubb. Across the line that time, you see Housden's lap was a little slow, 142.9, but Arthur and Moats, Arthur about a second slower than Moats that lap. On board, ready, Moats? And I feel bad for Ryan Housden. He's kind of trapped in this no man's land of... I mean, there is just absolutely nothing going on around him. I mean, Malone is leading. We at least have a reason always to cut away to the race leader, but if you're Ryan Housden, he is just kind of doing his thing. I will say, it is very good to see him be able to put a good run together so far and not be so severely impacted by the penalty he got, for instance, at Sonoma Raceway a couple of weeks ago. Started that race on pole. Thought maybe he had a chance to win, and unfortunately shot himself in the foot right from the get-go. Made a rule infraction on the start as Malone goes even faster. But it is very good to see Ryan Housden just having a quiet, good race tonight. This will be a lot of points. I mean, he's in a good spot already as it stands for the chase. But this is certainly going to help him as Arthur is also having a good night and they come in tonight tied. This will really help Ryan to put some points under his name.
I mean, I understand how Ryan's feeling right now, because you're sitting here thinking, man, this is good, second's good. But then you're also thinking, man, where are all these other cars? And it feels just lonely for the entirety of the race. So we got a bit of a replay here for the 28. Similar to what we saw with Campbell? Nope.
This is down into turn 3, a little more like what we saw from Baumler, maybe. Except Guileless recognized where he was at and just went straight, backed it up then, and got back on the racetrack. And that's certainly the better way to do that, I think, as far as staying in the race. He wasn't even trying to go through the grass or anything. He pulled a, 5-point turn to get back on the racetrack there.
You know, it's better than taking the wrong bit of track and getting this one.
That's fair, that's fair. Anthony Krobach, haven't seen much of him yet this season. I believe this is his first start. Might be second on the season. But he is right behind the number 5 of Caden Henry Oaks. I hear you mentioning the PlayStation. You know, it's funny. Yesterday...
I was overaware.
I just picked up a PlayStation 2 game yesterday. I don't know that this paint scheme is entirely realistic. They do have some freedom. They can run kind of time accurate paint schemes. They don't have to always be the exact scheme that was on the car. But yesterday I went to
As
my
a game collector.
yeah, I went to my local game collector store, if you will, Red Fox Gaming in Hickory, North Carolina, and I have got a PlayStation 2 now, thanks to Kayla, who's out in the YouTube chat. That was Christmas, not last year, the year prior. Anyways, I've got nearly every PlayStation 2 NASCAR game. I think I've got 09 up there. I certainly have 08, 07, 06, 03, 02, and 01. I believe we have 09 up there. I might still have to get 09. Regardless, I had a feeling, just a feeling, I should go check and see if they've got NASCAR 05. And this is relevant to the series because they are replicating kind of their own 2005 season here. I thought, you know what, let's go grab NASCAR 05, or I think they have it. Just, you know, I have a feeling, and sure enough they did. $8, NASCAR 05, that's now mine for the PlayStation 2. So, I'm not promising anything, but I can tell you the nostalgia vibes are certainly in full effect with that, and I'll be looking for ways to incorporate some NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup, just influences, I think, as the season goes on, especially given the name of that game, Chase for the Cup. We've got the chase coming up this season. Hopefully you can see where I'm going, as Durham has a slowdown, gets back in behind the 33 car here. Anderson keeps going as we've got problems and a tow for Nick Gillis. I don't mean the kind on your foot. I don't even mean the alignment of the tires. He has towed the race car back to the pit lane. And he might be done.
A little funny.
Well, sure, possibly. Regardless, he might be done here. Money shift.
Oh, there's a lock. Yep. Oh, yeah. Wait, no, you're right. I thought that was a lockup.
He money shifted it. He's done. He pulled it right over the safety crew and said, "Hey guys, clean this up. No longer my problem."
I'm gone. Off my yacht I go.
That's had to be the Formula One way,
that
right?
reference, yeah, I was like, if you get that reference, you'll get that reference. If you don't worry about it. Oh yeah, big time money shift.
That was like 11,000 RPMs or something. That is Formula One stuff. You don't want to go 11k RPMs in a NASCAR stock car usually. Well, Jacob Malone still leading. He is actually lapping last week's winner, Chase Durham. It's funny. At Chicagoland a week ago, these two were battling for the win. Now, one is lapping the other. And it's last week's loser lapping last week's winner. Malone puts a lap there on Durham as we look to complete lap 24 here for the race leader. Durham, I think, went straight. He's going into the pit lane here. I'm not sure what the advantage would be to this, as he... Don't tell me he's calling it a day.
Got lapped and maybe calling it a day after getting lapped. Figure that's enough. But we'll find out as you see the smoking engine.
So a great question actually by Rusty Rafferty in the YouTube chat. He likes to race in some of the stuff we have here at Pit Stop TV. The brake glow. That is... How do I put this? That's accurate to the temperatures of the brakes. The brakes do log temps as Durham is leaving the car in the pit lane. He might be done for a little bit, if not the rest of the race. So the brakes do take temperature here in iRacing. What they don't do is fade. A real brake set, brake assembly, pad, caliper, all of it, the pads will fade as they take temperature and get worn out over the course of a race. They're only meant to last for the length of the race. You're not going to reuse brakes every race. So, in real life, if you consistently heat that brake to the point where it's glowing red hot, like you see on the 8 car there actually, they will work less. Of course, you're heating metal, and as it gets hotter and hotter and hotter and glows, it's actually softening, and it's no longer as effective at stopping you. It's not creating as much friction because it's literally beginning to melt. We're not actually going to break, or not actually going to melt any brakes here in iRacing. You don't get that same fade, but you do at least get the graphical pleasure of seeing red hot brakes, if that counts for anything.
And I've only had one sim that does simulate it as far as I know, and that is Assetto Corsa Competizione, where you do actually have to do brake changes because your brakes will start to fade in longer races.
That's incredible. I didn't know that about AC, or ACC, I should say.
Yeah, it's actually awesome, and I do wish iRacing would bring things like that in here. I wish that we could get engine wear and stuff, but at the same time, I understand why we don't. And by the way, happy halfway.
Yes, the completion of this lap will be halfway for Jacob Malone. He is in turns 4 and 5 now, or 3 and 4. I don't know. The corner numbering here it's a mystery.
I feel like it's not that bad, but to each their own.
To me, for some reason, I've never been able to keep it straight. So that was 6 and 7. This is now 8 and 9, right?
There's only
yeah. I only know the hairpin's coming up when I see the Dodge Dart thing. I don't know why.
10, 11. The only corners that get me tricky here, and it's a similar issue with tracks like the Red Bull Ring, where it's technically a turn on the straight here. Technically 12 is coming up, but it's not much of a turn.
Oh, Road America is the worst. Road America is the worst.
Road America. Road America.
Turn 2 is hardly a bend, more of a straightaway downhill from turn 1 to 3. Do you know the reason for that, though?
I do not know.
Corner marshal stands.
Makes sense.
You've got to have every section of the racetrack visible to a corner marshal. So if you need to add stands, technically it has to count. Well, it doesn't have to count, but the American way typically is counting it as a corner. Now, for like the Nürburgring, for example, that's just not practical. But at circuits like VIR, Road America, etc., each corner marshal stand is its own number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at Road America, for example, the second corner marshal stand is that one between 1 and 3. As they crest the hill and go down to turn 3, it has to be a marshal stand there because there's blind spots otherwise. So it is numbered 2 and gets corner number 2. Look, it's the way they did it way back when. It is carried into... It's a vestige, really, of what used to be in motorsport, but it has carried its way into 2026 and beyond. I don't expect it to change anytime soon. But you mentioned we are halfway, and we have just gone through the halfway point for these guys. Josh Conover is back on the pit lane. I was thinking a little bit ago about why Malone would have pitted at lap 17 or the completion thereof. Well, that is basically the third way mark in the race. A third of 51 is 17, and I know that's not quite 52. But if there's more than 1 lap margin on that, then he knows he's good to go that extra lap. You can kind of split it up into 17, 18, 17, 17, 17, 18, you know, whatever. So I suspect that's why they pitted when they did, as now Josh Conover is in the pit lane and no longer moving. Also, a little bit of intel on Chase Durheim. He stated in YouTube chat, he just, I see now you asking him which pedals he got. He just got some new pedals and he lost the feeling of the pedal and therefore pulled the car over rather than absolutely bonsaiing it into a corner and taking somebody out.
And I just like to know, because I like to know what people have, so I know what people have issues with. For example, for me, I have a full set of Moza gear, and the only issue I have with it is a new one with this new computer, which I'm thinking is just a computer issue, to where anytime I get into iRacing specifically, I have to turn it off and turn it back on for me to get force feedback. I don't know why it does this, and I haven't put the look into fixing it yet, because it's such a small issue, I don't really care.
Watching on board with Caden Henry Oaks. Thankfully, I've been trusting the same set of Logitech pedals for far too long at this point. I think since early 2020. Actually, earlier than that. That's when I mounted them. So, probably since 2018. Yeah. Maybe 2019. But it's been a while.
Almost 10 years.
You know what?
Close.
You mentioned 10 years, is that what you just said? I think I talked about the Sunday. The next race, so a week from today, the next NORA race, actually, I will be hitting 10 years on iRacing. That'll be July 6th. So 1 week away. When we go to Daytona. Yeah, I don't even want to know.
Do you want me to date you even more?
What's that?
Do you want me to date you even more?
No, but go ahead.
When these cars were being ran from, what was it, 97 to 2007, right?
So these cars, yeah, I mean, like 92 technically, no, earlier than that maybe. Kind of 80s to 07.
Yeah, I was born as these cars were getting finished up. Same year. Let me just date you. The older NASCAR days, even if I was a NASCAR kid. 05
Wow.
Chase for the Cup would not have been in my childhood. There you guys go for
Wow.
everyone in the race, and Andrew here, and maybe even some of the YouTube chat who remember seeing these liveries on TV. I did not.
Yeah, I hadn't really comprehended that. We've got some youngins as we have some lap traffic now for our race leader. We have some youngins in BRB who were born after, so they're Roblox kids. I mean, Jordan White, for example, that ran on Sunday. He usually runs here in NORA now, but he did not run tonight. I think he might not have the track yet. Rusty didn't appreciate that, by the way. But Jordan, he, I believe, is 17. And he's a Roblox kid. A Scavnicki locks up there to turn one. Also, good to see Cleva back out there. He's trying to get some points up here. He's only one lap behind Hunter Sr. And then Baumler is also back on the racetrack, while Conover, Durham, and Guylis have all parked it in that time. To my point, as Kleba holds up the 38 into turn 3. Watch out here, guys. Jeez. All right.
Having a good time today, apparently.
Yeah, if I can ever get to this story. I'm sorry I'm interrupting your race here, guys. As there goes Caden Henry Oaks, one lap down in 10th spot. Scavnicki actually is right behind for position. These three are all in line for position, so I'll keep this quick now. Jordan White, Roblox kid. I first played Roblox in 2009. Some of these kids in BRB and such were born after that, and that is hard to comprehend.
My first Roblox experience actually is where I got my online username from. I haven't changed it since. But that must have been 2015? 2016? I remember playing a really old Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff roleplay game, actually. First thing I did on that account, on this account that I have. So what's in the context of when I got into all this?
I'm going to try to check something, but I'm very confident that my Google account that Pitstop TV is attached to is older than Jordan, and possibly, I'm not going to say for sure you, but possibly you.
No, there's no way it's me. Wait, how old is... I actually don't know how old Jordan is.
He's 17.
I talked to him a little bit. 17. Oh, yeah, okay. I am older than Jordan.
Not by a whole lot, as we continue to watch Caden, John, and Ronnie here. By the way, this is 10th, 11th, and 12th, so decent positions for these guys.
Wonderful fight here. Nice background fight to watch as we age you slowly but surely, and a good lot of the YouTube chat, it seems.
So I still have emails on this account from 2011. I'm trying to... I think we know how you can check when you first made your Google account.
There should be... Hold on. Give me 1 second.
I'll keep watching all this. By the way, look at this. Chris Winstone, he is into 7th, and he is finally approaching these guys further ahead. He has caught them. So Housden's now 39 seconds behind the leader, Jacob Malone. Housden is second and well ahead of Arthur. Arthur's got about 3 seconds on Tubb. Tubb's got about 5 seconds on Tucker. Tucker's got about a second on Moats. And then you find Winstone. So there is a path still, certainly, that Winstone can at least get a top 5. After that, it might get a little harder. Certainly, positions will be harder to grab as he keeps going farther forward. But what a first race for Chris Winstone to just buckle down, leave the drama behind, and get to racing here in his very first run with the NORA Retro Cup Series. And we certainly want to get him on some ovals after this, but it's just good to see him here this evening doing his thing on a road course and showing these guys. He's going to be sweating after this, though. I'll tell you what, I do believe these cars are going to be a little more of a workout than a GT3 car for the equivalent length of time. Continuing to watch along. I actually just want to see when Winstone's able to get this spot away, as Kleba has finally passed Senior. That is for 22nd spot. And these guys are nearly to 20 to go, so the pit window's opening up.
And just before we get into the pit window here, I could not find a way to check it. Unfortunately.
Well,
but I know my current account was made, like my current Google account was made sometime, I want to say I made it in 2018. I think I actually made it so I could play Fortnite and get an Epic account. That is just a really funny shit. I still have that Epic account, I still have that Fortnite account, and I don't play Fortnite anymore. So occasionally get the hankering, and I load it up, and I remember why I don't play that game. But I've kept the email ever since.
that's incredible. I will say OG Fortnite was good around that time.
Dude, I started season 6, I think it was.
Oh, I have no clue. It would have been 2017 that I first played. Those were the days. Still watching here.
Well, we're trying not to miss this racing.
You know, there's now a NASCAR collaboration actually with Fortnite.
Is it really?
There is. The current...
I didn't even see it.
Whoa, Mo's a little free there out of the hairpin. But the next gen... The next gen Chevy Camaro is now available on Fortnite. Or will be soon, something like that. They're doing a collaboration as Winstone trying to get some of the draft here off of Moats.
Look into the inside of the World Champion! Are we gonna see it? Nope. Nope. Thinks better of it. Knows better.
Yeah, Chris will stay very patient with these guys. He's not going to do anything too crazy. He'll let them make their mistakes as Ham makes one. Ham is around. This is...
Oh, don't put around there!
Oh, boy, watch out. That's out of turn 9, it looks like. That was scary.
That's not the greatest way to go about that, if you ask me.
Let's check this out for Nick Ham. Went straight on, and just as soon as he got back on the racetrack, tried to hit the gas, and that's not going to work. That's a lot of grass and marbles on those tires, and these guys will certainly be getting use out of that yellow and red striped flag for debris. As thankfully everybody got by. That was nearly our first caution of the night. That could have been really, really bad.
You know, I had a little jump scare. I didn't even know they added that until I got into the race, and I think it was GT3s around Spa, and I saw that in practice. I was like, hey, what's that for? I give it a quick search up, and oh, hey, it's for debris. Good to know.
Yeah, it is a real flag, I can say that. I saw it most recently at VIR earlier this month.
Have I ever said you're so lucky to be able to go to racetracks like that? Have I ever told you that? Have I ever told you how jealous I am?
It's definitely lost on me after a while, but it is definitely very, very fun to be able to do so. By the way, I will say, in addition to me being lucky to be able to, do a lot of my work at racetracks, it looks like this Google account that is attached to this YouTube actually just turned 15. So by December, it'll be getting a driving permit. 6/12 of 2011.
Wow.
I believe I can access my true oldest one, and I'll be curious to see how old that one is.
Oh, here we are. Five's around.
Caden Henry Oaks, yeah. Big problems there at turn number 11.
Bit of a jump scare.
It was. We were just riding on board there with Ham. This looks to maybe be a compound issue with 2 cars instead of just 1. Ronnie Norman behind the 5 car. And no, I don't think there was contact.
No, there wasn't any contact. Just got it wrong.
If nothing else, Caden has at least rerouted those cars for an alternate layout of turn 11. Gonna look at it again here as pit stops are opening up. Malone, Jones, Skavnicki all to the pit lane. And Malone, I was a little concerned. It was scoring him as like 15th for a second. It's like, how did that happen? He's got 15th place a lap down, but sure enough, he's back to being scored as the leader. He has pitted, and he is still the leader by some 13 seconds. There's Housden.
I do get a lot of joy out of watching these big gaps. It's sad for to watch if you want to see them race, but just the speed difference is, oh.
So it looks like my oldest email, by the way. I was a little mistaken. My oldest email is about to turn 16. July 15th, 2010.
Still younger than me.
I must have been using a parent email or something for Roblox, I guess, in 2009. Regardless, now that...
Or you were a guest.
What's that?
I said, or you were a guest. Who knows?
Oh, I definitely had an account. As Dalton Tucker will exit the pit lane, Windstone comes in. He's actually down and away already, so he's not too far behind that 3 car. And these will be the final pit stops. There's no need to pit after this point. So this will be the second and final trip for all these guys down pit lane unless we somehow get a caution.
Maybe I'll get out there. Maybe I'll give them a caution.
Oh, that's just what we need.
Give Housden a bit of a give Housden a chance.
Yeah. Housden taking service here. Well, about to anyways. Brady Motes, by the way, right behind Kyle Tubb. This is a newly found battle once again. However, it's not entirely representative of where they should be because Tubb is pitting here shortly. Motes is already pitted. And Tubb will now pit. Motes will continue on. Arthur, by the way, into the pit lane as well.
Every time you say Arthur, I think Red Dead Redemption 2, and I don't know why. Maybe I need to download the game.
Speaking of Arthur, it's good to see Super Picks today. Let's go lock that channel down for today's picks. But, man, Jennifer House, I'm wondering where Donald Kite was today. Yeah, Donald Kite not here. He's not the only one. Cody Smith also not here today. Cody is in the YouTube chat, though. I'm curious. We have the North American Racing League Driver of the Day vote. Every broadcast we do. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Do we kind of... I mean, how do we do this? Obviously, it's Jacob Malone, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Like, surely.
So do we do a vote for second? I mean, he's the best driver here. There's no arguing that he's got this down pat. That's for sure.
This is like Max Verstappen in 2023, man. Like, you know what? Actually, no. I know who I'm gonna put in for giving us a last to first or attempt, and it isn't quite a win in it, but there is substantial gainage. I'm putting in Chris Windstone.
Well, we don't have to nominate just yet. I'm kind of just bringing up the conversation. I think we'll give ourselves a few more laps. But if you want to lock him in, I'll let you.
I'm pre-firing it, Chris Windstone. I mean, come on. Putting in a good run. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Essentially a premature selection there, but I think we'll let it stand for the 27 car. And there you see Chris Windstone currently running in 7th. Did lose a spot in this pit stop transaction, but I think he'll get it back here soon because Motes is just pitting again. I thought... Oh, no, he hasn't pitted yet, actually. I was incorrect when talking about Tubb and Motes. So that will actually be a fight here soon. Here's Motes. There goes Tubb. There goes Windstone. They've got to slow up at turn 1. Can he get back to them? There you see Tubb, the orange car. Winstone actually fell behind. Winstone had a problem into turn 1, so he's going to leapfrog back over Winstone, and that'll keep Chris down in 7th. But Kyle Tubb has taken off. I think Winstone has a slowdown there out of the Wall of Champions. He's still slow.
But it gives Winstone someone to look at. If you, depending on how much you race, you might have this. I know some drivers, I kind of also have the strategy of you drive better when there's someone in front of you because you know where you're making the mistakes and where they're gaining the time. Now, you don't copy them exactly.
A rabbit to
but
chase.
Exactly. Now that Winstone's got someone to chase, it's hammer time, dare I say.
Let's see what he's got as he works to chase down the number 8 car, who's having problems on those cold tires. That should be easy pickings for Chris. And it will be. Chris Winstone gets back ahead of the number 8. And they get back on the binders for turn number 11. Always a tricky spot in these cars. Back down through the gears. It's interesting. We caught it earlier in practice, and I think we've kind of subtly mentioned it a time or two. Obviously, we know these are four-speed H-pattern shifted cars. Watch the telemetry graphic bottom right of your screen. We've noticed several of these guys not hitting 4th gear. Moats is. And that might be the difference, honestly, over the course of 20 laps, if they can go an extra lap or not. If they decide to take it up to 4th or if they leave it in 3rd.
And so getting awfully close to the Wall of Champions, maybe a little foreshadowing to when Winstone gets the oval property straight.
Yeah, grab the wall there slightly, a little bit of dust and dirt. Even some grass on the number 27's tires. They're out of the final corner. By the way, these are the final 2 cars on the lead lap.
So Malone's going to come in somewhat soon and throw in a little wrench.
I actually don't know if he's going to get there. Because
maybe not.
If you look at lap times, these guys are not too far off, as actually Nick Halm is finally pitting, so he is in for service in the number 88. I'll drop him out of 8th spot and send him deeper down the field. But if you look at the lap times for the top 8 or so, let me see if I can actually give you a visual representation here of kind of who we're looking at. As Tubb has just had problems. He's gone around. Moats has gone by. Winstone has gone by. So we'll take a look at what just happened there, and then I'll give you the lap times that you can look at and kind of see how this all compares. So watch for the 32 car up here. There he is. He's sideways on corner exit, dings the wall. Here comes Winstone. Here comes Moats. Nothing he can say or do about it.
Maybe a little bit of a drop for Winstone seeing the car around there, but...
So, on that subject of lap times, look at this. Malone, a 140.041, Tucker, a 140.9, Winstone and Moats, kind of the same territory there. 141.2, 141.3. They are not that far back of Malone. They have about 30 seconds, 25 seconds before Malone would catch them. And Malone is only putting about a lap or rather a second or so on each of these guys every lap when they're running at their best. I think he will certainly be on their relatives by the end of the race. I don't think he's going to catch them without them having some big issues. Basically 13 laps to go, 14 if you want to call it that even. Only a second a lap. He would need 25 laps or so left, and that would take a hold of the pit stop and everything. I don't think he'll get to these guys. There is one car off, though. Maybe Baumler. Yes, that was Calvin Baumler out in the weeds.
Making sure everything's mowed. It's okay.
Yeah, and that's not the first time that's happened to him today. Nick Geilis briefly got back on the racetrack, I think. But, I mean, there's been a handful of retirements. I will say Josh Conover is back in the race. He is 4 laps down in 18th, just taking more laps. He is very, very frustrated with the way this race has gone, but these two are going to keep giving us highlights. Moats takes a stab back here at Tubb, stays in line for now, but how much longer will he be content?
Eating up all the curb that he can take. Out of the wall champions coming down to turn 1. And you can see they get on the brakes so early. I think before the start finish line even for this turn.
Close to it.
And, it's okay. I'm gonna say it. It's really funny being a road driver myself and racing, GTs and Formula cars, and just seeing how early these guys have to brake for these corners. I mean, it gives me a good chuckle, good little mental chuckle.
I'm curious, what is the lap record here in Formula One, or even what they, the laps they typically run now? I'm so curious.
I actually looked that up not too long ago.
Last race pole position by George Russell in the Mercedes was a 112. 112.
The fast
.578. That is 30 seconds faster nearly than these guys. As Moats gets the go-ahead, he gets the go-ahead of Tub. What you got?
I'd say the fastest here was actually from Vettel in a Ferrari back in 2019, a 110.2.
And that is 30 seconds up on these guys.
So, now just imagine if these cars had that arrow. I mean, give them arrow and let them turn. I think we can get quite faster times, but we'll jump force.
It's also the brakes, it's the weight. There's so much more weight to stop and get around the corner. As there goes Moats, hard in the wall of champions. I knew he looked a little fast there. That might be it for the 8 car. Here's the onboard. It's definitely not steering quite right. Something's bent in that suspension. The right rear, the right front. And that is why I wanted to wait. He was in my consideration for driver of the day. I don't think so anymore, unfortunately. He's still trying to grapple with the race car.
We'll see if he's able to bring it back, I guess. But you know
think
what they say
he can
about
get
hitting the wall of champions?
What's that?
You hit it because you're going to become a champion.
Oh.
Pushing it as far, it shows you're going to push it. You see how scary that wall looks, and most people back out of it, but the champions, they know you got to push it.
I do
They
like
don't have
that
that fear.
saying. I hope that's true for Brady. But like he said earlier in pre-race, it has been a rough year for the number 8 car here in the NORA Retro Cup Series. It's been a lot of disappointment for Brady. Some great runs here and there, but unfortunately also a lot of runs that have ended sour for that Chevrolet. Jacob Malone, I'll come around in a moment to get 10 laps to go. You know, we have not yet looked at this evening. There's a couple of things. One of them being the schedule for the rest of the season. There you see it. This is race number 18, Montreal. It was shortened from 81 to 52 laps. We are thankful for that. This race, I think, if it was a little more racy at the front, the strategy for 81 laps would be a lot of fun to watch for a NASCAR Cup race. When you've got a Jacob Malone in the field, unfortunately, he is so dang good. I mean, he could pit again right now and get brand new tires, and he is. He is pitting. He is pitting. He's down the pit lane.
I laugh like a maniac.
And he's going to hold on to the race lead here. That's what I was going to say. He could pit and keep the lead, and he's going to do it. May as well. These guys have 10 change sets.
Hold on. I do have a question. Maybe I missed something about the league, and as any viewer here knows, I haven't been in. It's been Zach in here, but it's me now for this race specifically, I guess. The graphic showed 81 laps. We're only going 52. Is there more after this?
No.
That I don't know of? No. Okay.
No. It was shortened. That's what I was saying. It was shortened, and thankfully, it has been shortened. Now Malone only up by 20 seconds. That has unlapped a couple of cars. But he's got brand new tires.
Run
So,
number 7, run.
Yeah, Ronnie Norman has got Jacob Malone right back behind him. Hey, free pit stop if you're Jacob.
You know, this has to be as serious seeing a Red Bull behind you back in 2023. I mean,
We're seeing an SVG behind you in 2026. So,
thank
yeah,
you for putting it in the NASCAR terms. I didn't know who to compare it to.
Yeah. And you see Norman's actually kind of playing it difficult on the 18. He's trying to hold him up a little bit.
He wants to test himself. He wants to test himself here, though not too much of a challenge for Malone.
Jacob is just so good. I actually saw, you know, there's a league we used to cover by the name of, oh, hang on to it, Ronnie. The Icon Cup Series. We used to cover it here at Pit Stop TV. They raced last night at Sonoma, and Jacob Malone actually won that race. As Kyle Tubb is at the pit lane. In fact, Moats just pitted a lap ago to get that damage fixed, it looks like. Yeah, sure enough. A little bit of damage fixed. And actually, it might have been for incidents. I think he might have hit the incident cap. And I think Tubb did as well.
Oh.
I think that's what it is.
They were just fighting so hard, and they had to bring it through.
Look at the pit timer, bottom right. Lane time, 21 seconds. No time in the box. Same there for Moats. So some drive-thrus for these guys for incident points. I didn't think we would hit that. But sure enough, I'm looking at my my incident column. I'll have to see about making a graphic for this for the future. But they have both hit 17 incidents. The next closest, well, actually Brian Jones, he had to pit 7 laps ago for the same thing. He is at 18 incidents. There you see, clean through the lane, no box time. The next closest is Caden Henry Oaks. He's at 15 incidents. Now, I wonder if Nick Geilis or if Josh Conover can clarify, is the trigger at 15, or is it at 16 or is it at 17 incidents? I'm curious. As
like it is an
Caden
official delivery.
very intentionally and very intelligently lets the 88 go. Malone continues on. And I'll tell you what, Blue, I think we can go ahead and do it. You mentioned you want the 27 for driver of the day. Oh, Jacob Malone! Oh my gosh!
I got a heart attack.
Holy cow!
Jacob Malone having to keep it exciting for himself too.
I am speechless. I thought he just wrecked it. I really thought, and he's pushing. He's going for a fast lap is what he's doing.
He had that pit stop. I mean, he might as well.
And that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to set the fastest lap of the race.
Though slow through there. Slow through there. He took it slower. He took a moment to consider it.
So that was the dive on Krobach into the hairpin.
Beautiful move.
And let's just go on board here. Driver's side POV. Here he is, back to power, mitigates the wheel spin, doing nice. And then he's just hugging the wall here on the straightaway, and boom, hits it. That had to be scary.
Wait, was there even a lift there? Did he even lift?
Let's go back and find out. I wasn't listening for one, but let's listen.
Hold on, yeah. The rep stayed the same.
There was.
Okay, small thing. Not even a lift. Very brief lift. I mean, balls of steel, dare I say. I think I can say that here.
We'll let it fly. I think it fits for that, for sure. I mean, that definitely... I mean, it's not a Murtis mega miss necessarily, but it easily could have been for Krobach. Watch this again. He's just gonna come around the slight bend there. You know what? I guess it is a corner now. If you could hit the wall and nearly crash, I guess it counts as a corner. So turn 12 it is for the number 18. Nearly took him out of this one tonight. By the way, Norman and Krobach are both a lap down now, so it's back to just the top 7 on the lead lap as Malone approaches the 48 car of Josh Conover, who very unseriously joked about crashing the 18 here today. Now, Josh certainly would never. He's the league owner, but it made for some interesting conversation.
No.
So, of course, for driver of the day conversation, again, we'll kind of disqualify Malone, I think, just for the fun of it.
Yeah. We would give it to Malone, and we would put Malone in the vote, and Malone would probably win. In which, as impressive a show as it is, let's get someone else. Let's talk.
And so your mention then was this guy,
Yes.
which I agree with, which means I'm going to make you pick another.
See, there's one driver who, if he was still in the race, I would love to, and I would love to just because I know him, but I'm keeping it out of there. I think I'm gonna have to give it. I'm thinking to either the 32 or the 8 for the absolute beautiful battles we've seen so far out of those two. I don't know which one. I think I'm gonna go with 8. I just like that number more.
So did I when I was a kid. Dale Jr. was always my favorite. So we'll go ahead and type Brady Motes. Trying to type and talk at the same time doesn't work very well. So Brady Motes is on our list. I will go up, and I'm actually going to go Housden. We haven't heard about him all race because he's been that good. He is 18 seconds up on the rest of our points drivers and regulars. So imagine the difference in stories we would have here if we didn't have the 18 car in the race. And we're certainly happy to have Jacob Malone here. He's been great to have in the series, but imagine if he wasn't here tonight. We've been talking about Ryan Housden absolutely dominating this race, flag to the flag, 20 seconds up nearly on one of the strongest in the field, Vincent Arthur. So for that reason, certainly the recovery, the redemption for Ryan Housden after the disaster that was Sonoma, even drove a portion of the race with the hood up over the windshield. So props to Ryan. He's done fantastic this evening. And then, boy oh boy, I think I'm going to have to go with Anthony Krobach. Up 15 positions from the back of the field into the top 10, much like Chris Winstone, who has just grabbed another, actually, as Dalton Tucker goes for a spin. Winstone now up into 4th spot. But I'm going to go ahead and grab Anthony Krobach. So that poll is going to go live here in just a couple of moments over on YouTube. If you're watching on another platform, we certainly appreciate you doing so, but YouTube is the only place with the poll this evening, and, well, usually, so keep an eye out for that if you're on the YouTube side. If you're not, get over there and make your vote, make your selection, and then get back over, as I do want to go back and see what happened to the 3-car of Dalton Tucker here briefly.
Have me curious.
He was actually in between this battle that I've been seeing on Tommy and scoring for a little while. Anderson in the 33 and Christenberry in the number 11. Tucker, though, nice and steady, turns 3 and 4. Slow down.
No.
Ends up letting the 30 or the 27 go.
Okay.
Again, I think that's just a slowdown from race control for cutting the course. And I think he just, like we've seen so many drivers do this evening, pulled over, stopped, and let the timer count down. That's always inherently going to be slower than just letting some time bleed off into a braking zone, but I get it.
Each their own.
Each their own.
I mean, it is an oval, so some of these guys maybe don't even know that's a feature.
Jacob Malone this time by will have 4 laps to go. Us here at Pit Stop TV, we've got a couple of broadcasts left to go this week. We can take a look at them here quickly. You see tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, 2 nights away, we've got the Homestead Miami Speedway for the Luke's Playhouse 200. That is the 3rd running of that event. Luke Rainwater, born, again, I believe, cerebral palsy. I get these unfortunate diseases mixed up in my head, but he has really lived a very fulfilling life. He's, I think, 16 now, might be even 17. I believe we started this when he was 15. He's a race fan. He relies on alternative forms of physical therapy and exercise, and he is trying to help make it easier on other kids who unfortunately have the same setbacks in life. And he's a ball of sunshine, I guess. I don't know how else to describe him. He is just an electric personality. He's a lot of fun to have in the Discord server for this event, and is always fun to check in with. And he likes to do a command video each year. This will be the third year that we do it. We'll have some NASCAR drivers, Caden Honeycutt, Nick Lights, and some others will be in that. I think Lane Riggs as well for the third year running for each of those three. So going to be fun. Trucks at Homestead, Miami, always an enjoyable experience. It'll be really exciting racing, I think, this Wednesday evening. So keep an eye out for that here on Pit Stop TV. And then the next two after that, you see Hockenheim ring for the North American Racing League in their Porsche Cup category. They will be taking the AM drivers to Hockenheim this week, and then they'll be getting the pro drivers back out in a couple of weeks at Sebring. And then next Monday, as I hit 10 years of iRacing, we'll be taking this series right back to Daytona International Speedway, where Hunter Sr. got that first win. And after losing the points lead tonight, Hunter certainly will be looking to grab another, that's for sure. If they can sweep the Daytona races, that would be huge. We'll see. It'll be an exciting race, that's for sure. It will be under the lights, and Daytona, always fun in these race cars, so keep an eye out for that. And everything else at Pit Stop TV. Surprise, surprise, there might even be some announcements this week and an event coming up on Friday. Keep an eye out for that. That said, final few laps here at Montreal. And Jacob Malone has just absolutely driven away. I mean, there's no other good way to put it. He has absolutely beaten this field down and shown them he is going to win these road races.
For anyone concerned who's just listening and he has the race off in another area code of their computer, no, Malone has not been it. Malone is 26 seconds ahead of P2.
Yeah, it took that extra free pit stop. What's that?
I said, but we can dream.
Yeah. Took that extra free pit stop a few laps ago and has just been... Whoa, my gosh. The airtime there on the curves. Trying to set a fast lap. He's going to go by Fulham there on the 91 and looks to the inside of Brady Motes to put Brady a lap down. He will. He is now lapped up through 7th place. That's where Brady Motes runs. Next on his list would be Tubb, then Tucker. And I don't think he's going to be getting to either one of those drivers without a larger issue for them. Housen comes around the final couple of corners. He will take 2 to go. Vincent Arthur and then Chris Winstone, your top 4. I do kind of feel bad for Chris. He's just shy of hitting interview territory. We'll be talking to your top 3 after this, and certainly a deserving top 3. It's good to see Arthur. He's taken a third consecutive top 3 finish in really commanding attitude. I mean, it has been a really solid few weeks for him as he's hitting a summer stride. Leading the power rankings coming into tonight. I said we'd revisit that. We haven't yet, so we can do it now. There you see, Vincent Arthur has overtaken Dalton Tucker in that category, and Durheim, Jones, Conover, they're still all very close. Even Senior there in 6th, but certainly Jones, all 4 of those are actually going to take a very big hit. Durheim and just Durheim is out of the race. And Senior, Durham and Senior out of the race. Conover and Jones still running. Jones 11th, Conover in 18th. But we are about to take the white flag. Here we go. Penultimate time by the flag stand. Jacob Malone will take the white flag this evening at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Apparently the flagman's not in the flag stand. He has decided to take a vacation, it seems, but regardless, white flag brought to you by Whiplash Simcams for Jacob Malone. One more time around this storied facility, a little more than that for everybody else that's still trying to get to the start-finish.
Oh, I thought I saw rain for a second there. It was just the back of the car. I thought I saw a little bit of rain speckling down. I was about to say, what a good way to scare these drivers.
Oh, I wish. That would be... iRacing needs to get on that. The stock car I guess, homologation to be able to race in the rain. I think it's on the way since the Euro NASCAR released and is rain enabled, but still for now, none of the other stock cars able to race in the rain, and that needs to change expressly. The first time that happens, and we get rain racing enabled for those cars, I will be spending a lot of laps at a lot of road courses in the rain. That said, out of the hairpin, final time down the casino straight for Jacob Malone. This race has just flown by. The driver of the day vote still very much alive and open. Do not miss your chance to pick. Rocketing down to the wall of champions, Jacob Malone, an absolutely picture-perfect race. Led all, maybe what, one lap here this evening, and that was due to pit stops. Jacob Malone wins a second road course race in 3 weeks. First it was Sonoma 2 weeks ago. Tonight, he wins at Montreal.
I mean, fantastic race from Malone. There's no other way to put it. Just dominance.
We'll do some burnouts over here at turn number 2. Got to be careful not to go backwards. We learned that yesterday morning.
The hard way.
We did. I think every driver that finishes today, by the way, should do some burnouts, celebrate the fact that they survived 52 laps here at Montreal. There is Ryan Housden across the line, maybe the spiritual winner, considering the separate zip code, honestly, the separate class that it seemed like Malone was in. Housden comes across second. There is Vincent Arthur. He'll come down and finish this race up with a relatively clean race car. Looks almost pristine. In third position this evening, he'll wrap up the podium, followed by Chris Winstone, also in a nearly perfect, pristine race car. I don't think he went more than a couple of feet off track the entire race, kept every panel on it. So while Anthony Campbell certainly dented up the 72, the 27's at least in one piece.
Oh, Anthony. Oh, Anthony.
Here comes Dalton Tucker to wrap this race up. He'll go 5th place this evening and will, of course, be followed by Kyle Tubb in the number 32. Jacob Malone doing some burnouts all the way down at the hairpin, celebrating his win as he should be here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. What a run for driver number 18. I mean, just perfect the entire way through.
I wonder if these cars could drift.
He's trying.
He's giving it an attempt.
SVG's given it a couple of good attempts. I think Jacob is certainly trying to give it a shot here. Yeah, there we go. Giving it the beans out of the final corner. Yeah, all right. Almost had them linked together. Hey, we don't need the car. Go ahead and dent it up.
You don't need it. You get a new one next week.
I hear some other cars celebrating around their racetrack. I think, yeah, Kristen Perry and Gladjulich. And you know what? They're teammates to Malone. I think they can get in on it. And Malone is taking off down towards turn 1. He's just trying to link corners together at this point. Oh,
maybe
a little too wide.
Oh, there it is. I was like, maybe thinking the wall of change was intentional, so he get more of a drift. But look at that! Oh, the smoke.
So Jacob Malone will park it here in Canada. A job well done, certainly by driver number 18. And we'll take a look back at your unofficial race results from the NORA Retro Cup Series very first race at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve as the number 18 of Jacob Malone wads the car up after the checkered flag. Let's take a look. Unofficial race results from Canada. Jacob Malone with the win, of course. That's, I think, maybe the most obvious statement we've said today. Ryan Housden, Vincent Arthur, your top 3. We'll talk to each of them. Chris Winstone in his very first race here goes P4. A solid day for him, a quiet day showing that, yeah, he's got it on these road courses. Dalton Tucker 5th, Kyle Tubbs 6th. That's the extent of your lead lap drivers. It's Brady Moat 7th, Anthony Krobach in 8th, followed by Ronnie Norman and John Scavnicki with a solid top 10 here on a road course. As we round up drivers, you see the next page of results. Brian Jones, Caden Henry Oaks on down the line. Nick Hom, Cody Anderson, and Jake Christenberry all one lap down props to them for only being 1 lap down. I probably would have been 3 or 4 or 5 even, like Josh Conover down there. What a punishing race. I think this racetrack definitely has potential for these guys now that they've got 1 race in, but I don't think anybody's going to look at this race, well, maybe not anybody. I don't think many of these guys will look very fondly upon this race this evening just because it was such a beating by the 18, who, by the way, as you see there, led every single lap. Jacob Gladulich finishes 16th, 2 laps down. Brad Fulham 17th. Josh Conover, Kevin Baumler, and Chase Durheim, your top 20, followed by these 6, one of which did not make the start. That was Caden Perkins. But George does take the start, just doesn't race very long afterwards. Anthony Campbell out early, Hunter Sr. out early, along with Kleba and Guylis. Again, I think the track, the race, the series has potential here. I hope it isn't just immediately thrown out the window because it was a beatdown by Jacob alone, but let's talk with the guy who has prescribed the beating and to the entire field this evening. Jacob, I mean, picture perfect day. Absolutely, every single lap. You even got a free pit stop. I think everybody knew that you would win this race. Certainly, you had to have that feeling coming in, right?
Yeah, based off of pole times, it kind of gave me some assurance, but I knew Ryan was going to be quick, and he was. He definitely had, like, pace where we were staying within 3 seconds earlier in the race. But, yeah, I kind of turned it up in a way and was able to drive away.
Turned it up in a way, buddy. You had him cleared by like a minute when you took that free pit stop. You still finished 33 seconds up on Housden. And you know, at Sonoma, we were talking about how we wanted to see you and Housden go head to head. Does this kind of feel like what would have happened if you guys had been able to race it heads up?
No, this is a new track for everyone, so it's just really who can adjust faster. The free pit stop, I was gonna be short on fuel, so that's why I was pushing so hard in the second stint to hopefully get a big enough gap where I could just pit and maintain the lead, and I was able to do that. So yeah, just to make sure I didn't have to save fuel, I just wanted to go kind of all out throughout the whole race.
And of course, we've talked pretty openly about just how good you've been in your early, career here in this series specifically. Obviously, 2 road course wins, that's great. The ovals, you've been solid as well. I'm curious, though, what feeds this? What experiences that you've had on iRacing feed directly into your skills here, specifically on these road courses? Because, I mean, we've also never seen these cars on this racetrack, I think, ever. I mean, I'm sure some league has done it somewhere, but I don't think anybody in this race has done it before.
Oh, I bought Montreal the night of qualifying. Gate hit like 7 laps in prior to qualifying, so I think I had like 7 more laps than most people. So that definitely gave me, I think, a little bit of an edge going into qualifying. However, I think it's just comfortability. Since I got iRacing, I've been kind of comfortable, especially in the stock cars when it came to transitioning to road courses. I don't know about, Porsche Cups or Formula cars whatsoever regarding my road course skill, but I was able to kind of just really convert easily, especially with the next gen car, and the Gen 4 kind of just transferred over. It felt very comfortable. Kind of dials into my driving style on road courses where you kind of have to pedal the throttle, and whoever has the most grip on the rear tires can kind of separate themselves from the field, determining lap time and all those strengths.
And you sound so calm right now. Let's back up, because don't think we saw your free pit stop and didn't see you put it in the wall in what isn't even a corner at turn 12. You sound calm now. How excited, for the wrong reasons, were you when you clipped that wall on the casino straight headed down to the final corner?
So I pit, and I was running good enough lap times to maybe go get a 1:38, and I said, why not try my luck? I got by a lap car, and I just kind of lost focus down the straightaway and smacked it. This track needs so much concentration, and the whole field can tell this. This is such a difficult track mentally, especially at that many laps into the race. So yeah, it was definitely some mental exhaustion there and just a lack of concentration on my end.
Well, Jacob, congratulations. I don't know how many drivers will get that from this evening. I think everybody's kind of like, man, why is this guy here again? But it's good to have you. It really is. I remember when Jimmy Johnson won 5 straight, and I hated him. And I look back now and wish I had been so much easier on Jimmy, because I hate now when I go and pick him for fantasy at Coronado and he finishes like 90th. So Jacob, look, this kind of beat down on the field won't be appreciated now, but we certainly appreciate you being here, and I think we'll look back on it with kinder eyes for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll be a learning opportunity. That's the whole point. I won't be here next week, unfortunately, so can't go for 2 in a row.
Not going to be at Daytona, but Watkins Glen still remains, right? Hey, congratulations, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Have a good one.
A big race for Jacob Malone here this evening. Second place, though, is Ryan Housden. Blue, how about you talk to him? I mean, the car is blue, you may as well.
Hey, same color as my name. How's it? I mean, first of all, how are you feeling after a race such as this?
Feeling pretty satisfied. All my practice kind of paid off a little bit. Obviously, had more work to do to get Malone, but running second didn't really have to bust my butt too much to get there. So feeling satisfied.
That's good. That's good to hear. And one thing we kind of brought up very briefly, and that I am wondering, you were kind of in your own world for a lot of this race. I mean, you had 30 seconds ahead to Malone, and I think 20 seconds back to Arthur. What did you do to keep yourself almost kind of sane during that time?
Yeah, I'll be honest. It was a bit of a toll on the focus, because it's pretty easy to fall into the trap of just starting to get lackadaisical, and really it was just kind of keeping thankfully that little green relative bar, just kind of time trialing to myself, just making sure I'm running good laps. And second stint I had to do a little fuel saving, so that kind of kept me focused too. So just little things that keep you from daydreaming a little bit.
I'm gonna have to start using some of those tips and tricks. I think I get lost like that too pretty frequently. Yep. And something I've always wondered. I myself am a pretty heavy road driver, right? Andrew here can tell you that, and just one look at my iRacing will tell you that. How do you feel whenever you see a road race come up on a NASCAR calendar for a league you're in, or even in the officials? How?
Yeah, I'm not really much of a natural road racer. I never really did it for the last year or so, but I do have this kind of tick that makes me want to get faster at them. So when I see one on the schedule, I just kind of, I green. You can go into it with a bit of strategy, and if you can run your race and keep your pace up, you can usually get a good finish. And there's not a whole lot that can take it away from you, as long as you, don't cross lanes before the start finish line or something silly like that.
All right. Well, last question I have for you. Next week, Daytona. Is there gonna be any practice going into that?
Well, it's polar opposite racetrack, and I'm not the greatest super speedway driver. Usually something on pit road always costs me somewhere, but so if I do run any kind of practice, it's going to be pit entries. I'm just trying to get the braking spot down. And, other than that, though, just about to try to put a lap in here and trying to start at the back. That's the goal, I guess.
All right. Well, good luck. Get off to that qualifying, and hopefully we're up here talking to you soon.
Thanks. And I want to shout out the boys at DEI for sticking through it in that race. They were all doing pretty well, I think. And shout out to my mom and dad and uncle, everyone watching at home. And my buddy Brock for giving me some pointers at Montreal there. He's a pretty big reason why I've gotten better road course racing. So shout out, everyone. And thank you guys for the broadcast.
There you go, Ryan Housden with his take on this evening's race here at Montreal. Of course, third down the line, as my Siri heard something about it and get away. Yeah, anyways. My Siri thought it was I was talking to it. Anyways, Vincent Arthur, third place this evening, and I mean, this is the third straight podium for you, Vincent. This is suddenly a mid-season swing that you needed to get back where you should be, healthily inside of the chase picture. You and Ryan both, I think, really needed the points here tonight, and you got it as you both entered into this evening's race tied, 60 above the cut line. Now it's going to be a much healthier number, certainly. You got to be happy headed to Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been preaching for the past couple of weeks, we just got to go up here, just show up, execute, and do what we do. Coming into tonight with 0 laps on the track before we gridded was probably not a smart idea, but we figured it out, and I feel like towards the end of the race there, if I didn't have a couple of those off tracks early or just a couple of the weird pit road glitches, like it didn't fill my car up with gas the second stop, so it was pretty much 2 pit stops in one. Like I might have had a shot at Ryan, but yeah, no, by the end of the race I was enjoying it. Track very tricky, but when you get the hang of it, it actually was a pretty fun time. So yeah, all in all, pretty good day. Pretty good to come away with a podium after all said and done, and yeah, kept our nose clean for the most part, unlike you're about to see on the broadcast, because well,
What happened there?
really, I couldn't
Oh.
do much there. He took the inside lane, and I was like, okay, I'll go around him, and then he went high, I guess, and at some point I have to turn. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what happened there either. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, we kept our nose clean. Other than that, and came away with a 3rd place finish.
You know, we saw the how do I put this? The, I guess, contact-enabled racing between you and Dalton earlier in the event. Obviously, you know, incidental contact. You let Dalton gather it up and get back going. If not for that, do you think you could have stuck with Ryan at the front?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of instances like that, and the first stint in particular with the weird 3-second slowdowns and that deal with Dalton. I mean, I didn't mean to touch him. I got it. We didn't even get more than a 0x, so I was gonna wait for him to get his spot back anyway. So it's stuff like that where if we just clean that up a little bit, yeah, 100%. I think we could have ran with him. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's that's on me for not getting any practice in, but all my sim time was for Hickory this past weekend. So that was the bigger fish to fry, and coming into tonight, so I knew that I was going to be at a disadvantage, and luckily we survived that first stint, and we just kept getting faster as the race went on. So to come away with a 3rd place finish, I think we could have had a shot at second, but after all is said and done, we did the best we could with what we were given.
Yeah, I really wanted to get to Hickory this past weekend, but with the rain oncoming that day and the way stars aligned at home, couldn't get there. I'm curious, how did you end up doing? But I also want to talk about the racetrack. I'll let you talk about Hickory first.
Yeah, so it was we ran twin 40s. So the first one I started on pole and led 38 of 40 laps. Had a right rear tire going down and finished second. So if I had a nickel for every time that I've led 95% of the races, or the race at Hickory, and finished second, I'd have 2 nickels. Isn't a lot, but it's weird. It happened twice in a row.
I love that saying.
Yeah, but the second race we started in 7th, drove our way up, and we were battling for 3rd, and just some incidental contact, and these fiberglass bodies don't stand up too well, so got the worst end of it, and with 4 laps to go in the race at that point, it just was better to park it than try to limp it around there. So ended up P9, but all in all, I mean, it was a really good weekend, really a lot of a learning experience, really. First time I've ever had the rain delay like that, so I'm just glad to get all the races in. My sponsor's very, very happy, Harmony Biosciences. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to going out and doing it again.
And as far as Montreal this evening, final question for you. It feels like this track certainly has potential for a second year. Like, it should be more than just a 1-year deal. But I think there was definitely a steep learning curve. Do you think if you guys have a chance to come back here again next summer, get a little more time, kind of maybe work on a potentially easier drive setup? I mean, is there potential there?
I think so.
Maybe even
At least I'd hope
DQ
so.
Jacob alone halfway through the race?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think if I had a fuel run a practice session, I could have given him a run for his money. So I'm not really worried about, him running away with what he's got. Well, I mean, at the end of the race there, I was matching him. He was on 13 lap bolted fresher tires or something like that, and we're both running the same lap time. So yeah, again, it goes back to just me being able to get a fuel run in beforehand. But if we came back next year, yeah, I hope it comes back. I know a lot of people were not very happy with it, so I'm not entirely sure if it will. I hope it does. I'd had about 1,000 laps in an F1 car around here, and just having to switch my brain into heavy stock car, just take the shortest route possible. It's a really big change, and I know a lot of guys are in a similar boat there. So I think if it did come back next year, it wouldn't be as strung out as it was this year.
I guess to piggyback off of that, where would you say is too many road courses for this style of league at this point in the timeline? And this is kind of 2005, and this is even predating when the Busch Series, now the O'Reilly Series came here. They first raced at Montreal back in 2007. So we're already kind of changing timelines there, not to mention the fact that it's Cup at Montreal. But where would you say is too much road course racing in this style of league, this timeline that we're in?
I mean, I love road courses, so the more the merrier, really. I think probably 5 is your maximum. Just because we have the ability, like a lot of the tracks that have 2 dates at this time period, like they don't need it. There's no reason we should go to Pocono back to back, like with, what do we have, 2 races in between those 2 races? So, one Pocono date can get dropped, one Michigan date can get dropped. Keep the 2 Atlanta races, but there's a lot of different tracks that have the ability to provide really great racing that we can go run at other than some of those tracks. So I think your maximum is 5, but at this style of schedule, I think it's a pretty decent balance where they're at right now.
Yeah, I definitely think it'd be hard to get kind of hardcore NASCAR guys to go past 4. And even probably past 3 for what will be 2006 next year, right? But Vincent, we could probably go in circles all night about it. I guess that's what we'll be doing the rest of the schedule. But thanks for being here this evening, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Vincent Arthur, 3rd place tonight, and Blue. I think we'll have a lot of conversations about these road courses as the season goes on. Of course, we have this new pre-race show that we've been using pretty liberally to talk about this kind of topic, and I think this is going to be a pretty popular topic, at least through Watkins Glen later in July, I think actually in August. Certainly a lot to talk about with that, right? I mean, do you add one more and take out an oval somewhere? Then what oval do you take out? Do you just swap Montreal out for something like a St. Pete, which was around at this point in time, I believe, in 2005, 2006? Where do you take these guys next? I know you said Long Beach earlier. I don't disagree with that. That might be a little bit tight for these cars, but so would St. Pete. So there's a lot of options. And let's not forget, Road America was very much active and lively at this point in time. In 05, 06, 07. Road America's there. Road Atlanta's there. Laguna Seca's there. There's plenty of tracks
Laguna,
to go to.
Please, Laguna. Okay. I'm sorry, but I love Laguna Seca. I hear the name, and it just flips a switch in my brain. If they put these cars here next season, I will be driving it.
I think there is reason to look at each of those racetracks and probably several more. Those were just the first 3 of kind of traditional road courses that came to mind. They're on every racing game since the mid '90s. I feel like at least since the turn of the century. Road America, Road Atlanta, and Laguna Seca, I feel like, are easily the 3 staples, in addition to the obvious of Indianapolis and Daytona, and Sebring even, which Sebring would be a great option for these guys. That place has been around since the 50s. So I think there's options. I'm curious to see where these conversations go, and I'm sure this will be a topic we recycle in pre-race shows going forward, but I'm curious what everyone has to think on that topic, because I think 4, maybe 5 is suitable, but we also ran just 2 road courses in NASCAR Cup Series racing until 2018. So we are about 12 years ahead of that curve. Maybe it's starting to get a little bit too far out there. I don't know, but we do have a driver of the day, and I love who this is going to be. I really do. I mean, we didn't get to talk to him this evening. He finished 4th, though, and that is our trusty road course specialist, Chris Winstone. He will get the driver of the day honors here this evening at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and I think he'll be happy to get that for sure. I think he's still watching, or at least was watching, He is still watching because he just mentioned we should run Monza combined. Which, you know what? I feel like an all-star race there would be kind of crazy. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
But
He isn't wrong.
Chris Winstone, driver of the day this evening, up 20 positions, 21 I think even by the end of the race. Started this race 25th, finished 4th. That it's nearly last row to podium at the very least. Very, very close. And I look forward to seeing what he can do at Watkins Glen, hopefully, Chris, later in the season. Maybe even some ovals here to finish the season out. But Chris, I think, will make a couple of starts here and there. I think won't race as much on this side just because he's already got a very full schedule. But you never know. We're also trying to get him on Tuesdays and everything else. So we want more of Chris Winstone, and obviously he's got a real life to keep up with, so we can only have so much, I suppose. But looking forward again here, Blue. Next up for us, we get a night off, at least as a channel, as I'll be at Charlotte Motor Speedway tomorrow for Cookout Summer Shootout. Zach Murtis will be back in action there, and boy, I'm excited for that race. Again, that has always been one of our highlight reel races. In fact, I'll run a package here when we end this broadcast. You'll see a highlight from it. But, yeah, Luke's Playhouse 200, always a fun race. Thursday evening with the Hockenheim Ring for North American Racing League is going to be a lot of fun. It was a very chaotic race. There are some penalties on the way, even for some pro drivers after last week. And then, of course, Daytona next week is going to be a blast. There's a special entry to that race. That's all I'm going to say. But Blue, as you see the social links down at the bottom, any final thoughts here from Montreal?
I mean, the race went about I was going to expect with the 18 just running away with it, but there was good racing all over the circuit if you knew where to look, and which is about the same for any other racing series, and I love it when that is true. I hope there's more road circuits like this and more ovals.
Kayla has finally chimed in, by the way, on the email conversation. Her first email apparently was MSN. That's a throwback. There was some Hotmail stuff thrown out, Gmail. I think I might have had an Apple like iCloud account way back when, because we had a family iMac when I was like 7. I don't know. That's going back to 2007. That's asking me to remember, 19 years ago, and that's a long time. I've slept since then, but Blue, thanks for being here this evening. You see some drivers hopping curbs out there still. It was a fun one. Definitely always enjoy the NORA Retro Cup Series. Of course, a big thank you to the partners who make it possible. Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, Darkstar Garage, and of course, NORA itself. And our partners here at the channel, Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. That will do it for us, though, this evening from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we see you again very, very soon. 2 nights away, the Luke's Playhouse 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Hopefully we're seeing you then. NASCAR trucks with some NASCAR truck drivers should be a lot of fun. We'll see you then. Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams.
Yeah, can Rayleigh hold him off? He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.